Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. Hope you guys are doing well out there. It is your boy, Andrew Esquire, coming to you from Orlando, Florida today. I'm actually traveling to Miami later today. Setting up some things to get going here and get taking off here in the morning. But today is the day where we 100% know who wins or loses. And I see you in the chat. I see you guys doubting this. But I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain today what we should know exactly who wins today, regardless of what happens. Good morning. Good to see all of you in the chat out there. Good to see everybody here today. As always, you guys know I'm Andrew Esquire. This is a Legal Mindset. We help you be your own judge. So yeah, it's good to be back here in the United States. It's good to be visiting all my friends, all my family. I practiced here in Orlando, Florida for 6 years, almost 7 years in Orlando. So Orlando was like a second home to me almost. It's good to catch up with people, although it's very funny because I've started doing YouTube. And some people know what my YouTube channel is like, and some people that know what I cover, they see it and they're like, "Oh my God, this is like a totally different person than the guy who I worked with, or the guy who I thought I knew, or whatever." Because I'm really uncensored here, unlike in my past jobs, some of my past jobs that I worked when I was in Orlando. Very, very funny. And there's some people actually I've been speaking to here that are pro Amber Heard because they really haven't been paying attention to the trial. They've been watching mainstream media. They've been reading articles like the article I'm going to read today that just came out, which I think is intended to influence the jury. I think it's intended to influence people who are deciding this. I think this push of articles, why we should just believe Amber Heard, why we all need to do everything Amber says, why Amber is right, why we all need to trust Amber. I think this full court press of articles and PR is a last-minute attempt to, and I'm going to say it, influence the jury. And the fact that they came out over the weekend, a lot of these articles, when they would have time to read them, when they would have time to check them out, when they're about to go into the jury box, and even honestly, even people on pro Johnny Depp, right? Pro Johnny Depp people have been retweeting and recommenting these, and in a way that still pushes them in the algorithm. So a lot of these negative articles have been out there and may 100% have worked their way into the minds of the jurors. Now, jurors are not supposed to consider. They're not supposed to consider social media. They're not supposed to read anything. But like I said, when you've got your phone and you're checking your phone every 2 seconds and something scrolls up and it's a Salon article, right? Or a Vox article or the Vice article. Today, we're going to read the Vice article because yeah, I used to really, really, really enjoy Vice back in the day. As you guys may know, I live in South Korea, but I think Vice did really good work when they did like the guide to North Korea and they like went behind the scenes into North Korea. I think that was pretty cool, but that was like almost 2 decades ago. 15 years ago that they did that sort of stuff. Now they've gone super crazy, ultra uber woke, and they feel like they need to take this position of hashtag believe all women, like many other institutions. And they've banked on this grift. They've put so much on this that they have to back Amber Heard. And what I want to get into, aside from the verdict, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the verdict today. But aside from the verdict is that so many of these mainstream media outlets, even if the verdict comes back for Johnny Depp, are still going to make this about Amber Heard. They are not going to let go because this has been their grift, this has been their story, and they're going to stay on it like dogs with a bone. They just can't let it go. Guys, wherever you are out there, good to see you in the chat. I love this morning time, guys, because essentially this morning time is always a good time for me when I'm in Korea. Now I'm in the United States, so I'm waking up a little bit later, right? But it's still one of my favorite times to stream because there's really not anybody else I'm conflicting with in this time slot. I mean, it's really just usually just me. I know that there may be 1 or 2 other streamers streaming right now because it's the day of the verdict, but there shouldn't be that many people streaming normally. Got a couple super chats here that rolled in, so let me catch this. Patricia said, is it true that Amber had to buy fans outside the court? I've heard this rumor. Now, Have I seen the receipts? No, I haven't seen like a paper receipt yet that says, "Hey, here's Amber Heard's here's Amber Heard's receipts. Here's her, purchasing fans." Have I seen that? No. Would I believe it? Absolutely. Amber Heard is bought. She purchased bots to support her on Twitter and in other places in social media. She's paid the media companies to rank her in the SEO, rank positive stories in the SEO. I guarantee you her PR manager, Mr. Grabass, David Shane, has used his vile tactics to buy off certain periodicals, buy off certain magazines, newspapers, just like the one we're going to read today. Although I will say the ones that they're paying off are probably closely aligned with their crazy, crazy woke agenda. And I'm going to send out the link here, guys, to a couple people to see if we can get anybody in the chat today, because we'll be around for a little bit. I'm probably going to try to go about maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours today. So we'll see who we can get to join us here, because we've had a great cast of characters on this particular stream, and frankly, I've been really blessed to have a lot of good commenters, a lot of people on this channel that I really like, that really enjoy their opinion. So it's been really great, a really great experience. And I appreciate all of you who've reached out to me, who've given me information, who've sent me articles. It's been really amazing. So that said, I sent out a couple invites here to see who we can get going. If anybody happens to be awake right now, I think Tug might be awake too. Let me see if Tug is awake. He invited me on his stream yesterday, but I was celebrating Memorial Day. So let's see if he's up. All right, guys. So that's that first super chat. Second one from Casey Leach says, "Ready for Bo to be vindicated. Hashtag Bo did not do the poo." Okay, let me talk about this one real for a second, Casey. The fact that the poo made that Elaine, incompetent cat lady Bredehoff, that she brought that up on closing was horrible. It was absolutely a travesty. And frankly, to reinforce that fact that Amber shit in Johnny's bed, and to reestablish that you think it was Boo who ate some marijuana and then shat on the bed in a way that was bigger than his own body, it's just ridiculous. It's preposterous. It's clear that thing did not come from a dog. Like very, 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 very clear. I really don't know where to go with that. I mean, there's no argument I can make. Let me catch one super chat from last time, because there were a couple messages from last time that came in afterwards. And I think an Amber stan dropped in afterwards and dropped this one particular super chat that I want to address here from yesterday, which is right here, which is from Human D, which $2 sent me a super chat very last minute after I'd actually closed the stream. So that's how cowardly they were. They couldn't even say it during the actual stream, because that's Amber fans. They're cowards. So they said, "How do you cope? How do you all cope when Depp loses again?" That's from Human D. How do you all cope when Depp loses again? That's a super chat right there. So, and once again, I got that super chat after we'd stopped the stream. That's how fucking cowardly they are. They literally had to drop the super chat after we'd ended. Horrible, horrible, horrible stuff. So let me break this down. If Depp loses the case, I think he still won. He won the court of public opinion. That's done. So Depp cannot lose this because he's won the court of public opinion. I'm sorry, it's 100% done. That part is over. That ship has sailed. The court of public opinion is clearly in Depp's favor. Let me change the camera a little bit, move it a little bit here. Okay, cool. So they're definitely taking a loss on the court of public opinion. They're losing on that one. That's done. That's over. That's finished. You cannot go back and win that. But, if Depp loses legally, well, there probably was one or two jurors that went against him. And we'll know today whether he's going to lose legally. Why do I say that? And let me not bury the lead, guys, because I want to explain why I think that today is the day we know. Based on everything we've heard about the jury. And we've heard a lot about the jury. We've heard about the jury from several people, many of which have been on this channel. All the people that have been inside the courtroom, they've given their opinions on the jurors. Everybody who's been reporting on this, and they haven't come over, like even Shenlei has given the opinion that most of them seem pro-Depp. So you've seen consistently everybody who's been in that courtroom saying that the jurors, by and large, seem pro-Depp. So what does that mean? That means that they're likely to enter a Depp verdict. However, it's possible that there could be one or two holdouts. Well, how would we know? How would we know which way it's going to come out today? Couldn't they deliberate tomorrow or Thursday or Friday? Well, here's the thing about court cases. The longer a case goes, the more likely it is that it comes out as a hung jury or a no answer. This is not a criminal case. This does not have a million different counts. It has very specific counts on Amber's side and very specific counts on Johnny's side. They're very limited in number. They've only really got to decide on, frankly, two separate legal issues. Now, there's the issue of the 3 counts for Johnny, right? 2 for regular garden variety abuse, right? Defamation, saying he's an abuser generally. They're probably going to lose those because, well, verbal abuse counts. And some people might say that the text messages, the comments, whatever, could constitute verbal abuse. Okay, fine. Throw those 2 out. But the one Johnny has, which Amber failed to prove anything on, is the sexual violence. In the closing and through the body of the case, nowhere did Amber prove anything regarding the sexual violence. Therefore, it seems like that is defamation. The only evidence of that sexual violence is Amber's word, which is why we're getting these insane articles, these crazy articles telling us to hashtag believe all women, that we failed Amber Heard. That's why we're getting all these accounts, because it's just her word. It's her word, and that's it. And her word against other witnesses, her words against the medical reports, her word against the photos, right? The facts, the fact that she was on James Corbin, the fact that she was dancing the next day, the fact that she was doing all these things after these purported injuries. So one count that Johnny should just nail it on. He should get it. It's clear. And today, once again, jury doesn't get dinner. Jury does not get dinner. And my prediction it was, and I stick by it, that today the decision, if the decision is coming in today, it's coming in at 3 or 4 p.m. 3 or 4 p.m. It's going to come in the afternoon. It'll get read out, maybe 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock at the latest. It'll get read out today. And it'll be, if it's in Johnny's favor, which I'm 90% sure of. But if we don't get a verdict today, that means it is damn sure that somebody is holding out on the jury. Somebody is not agreeing. And if somebody is not agreeing after they've seen all they've seen, and they've seen no evidence on the side of Amber, then likely this person is ideological. Then likely this person has a deeper reason for just blanket agreeing with Amber Heard. Likely there's something else going on here. And if we see that there's no verdict today, it's not looking good for Johnny recovering. It's not looking good. Now, Amber's recovery, that's not happening. She hasn't even proved any of the elements of that. It should be completely thrown out. It should have been thrown out by the judge. I understand they didn't want to bias the jury, et cetera, but I still think that one should have been thrown out. That one's going to get thrown out. I mean, there's no question about that. And if it didn't even happen, even if the jury decided it, it would get thrown out at the appellate level, 100%. 100%. But today, I guarantee you, we will see either a verdict, or if there's no decision, it's hung, it's done. Today. That's my position on this, guys. And I'm going to stick by that. A lot of people say, "Oh, the verdict will be tomorrow." Nope. Why would they need to decide? Why would they need to decide on this? What facts do they have to deliberate on? There's not much to deliberate on here, guys, especially regarding the sexual violence. Even if you throw the other two out. All right, so let me get some of these super chats. Then we're going to jump into this article because this article is really crazy. Patrick says, "I've seen some argue that Johnny may lose the case and then 2 years on the 2 years ago statement. But if anything, he'd win because, like Johnny Depp's lawyers pointed out, it's in reference to the TRO. Thoughts?" Once again, I can see Johnny losing because somebody on the jury is ideological, has a believe all women. Maybe the woman who's on the jury, one of the women has a daughter, sister, somebody like that, and they have a personal experience, and they just want to believe Amber. Maybe, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of reasons why somebody could just irrationally believe Amber, despite all the evidence we've seen. That's always possible in a jury system. It's always possible to get one irrational person. There's something called jury nullification. Essentially, if one juror just believes, hey, I don't like this person, I don't agree that women should be liable for defamation for accusing sexual violence, that's it. They're out. One person who's read one of these insane articles, like the article that we're about to read in a second here, one person that's done that is all it takes. It just takes one person on that jury. You do not need more than that to hang this jury, and you're done. So and I just got to notice that there should be somebody joining us today, which should be kind of nice. So there'll be at least one person jumping in and joining here in a second. And some of you guys asked about Christina. I sent Christina a link, so don't worry. Christina is always on the link and always invited. So Jack says, morning, not asking for legal advice, but what resources and tools would you recommend for legal research? Well, it depends on where you are, Jack. Obviously, you're going to want to look at the local jurisdiction. You're going to want to look at whatever rules apply in the state where you're at. You can also research the court system. A lot of the court records are public records in almost all states in the United States. For federal records, you want PACER, which is the federal system to look up cases and whatnot. You can sign up for that, very, very easily. So you can just kind of jump on PACER. If you want to, you can find free versions or try to get like a student version of a Westlaw or LexisNexis or something like that. If you can get access to any one of those databases, Bloomberg, any one of those, that's good for legal research if you're doing like case law legal research. Otherwise, there's free resources for searching cases online. If you know the cases or area of law, you can just search it up, and oftentimes you can just find the actual case itself. Rosalie Ruse says Johnny has won no matter what. We love him, and that's the big win. So when this salty person, when this salty Amber stan writes me the super chat at the end of the day as a fucking coward and says, "Oh, what are you guys going to do when they lose?" We'll still know that Amber Heard is a liar, right, and that she is an abuser. At the end of the day, Amber Heard is a liar, an abuser, and nobody stands behind her. And nobody will stand behind her. And also, Johnny is already getting deals. He's already getting signed up for new movies. People are already backing Johnny Depp. So we're already seeing wins for Johnny Depp. He's on tour right now in England, in Europe. So, is he not already winning with his life by recovering now, by people believing him, by people coming out and showing up? And like Amanda said, he's won. It's done, right? Regardless. Good morning from NYC. Love the morning stream. Hoping we get a verdict today, but we'll keep following Lawtube. Yeah, we will get I think we're going to get something today. My prediction is we get it today. And I'm still banking on a liability for Amber. So Amber is going to be held liable, is still my opinion. Miss Dog Lover says, good afternoon from jolly old London, England. Praying for a JD win today. He played with Jeff Beck in London last night and got a standing ovation. We love him. See, that's the point. This is why he's already won. And that there's nothing that can take that away. Ray says JD as DC's Mad Hatter in Aquaman 3. That'd be hilarious. Max Muir says, don't know if it's lighting or a different webcam, but since webcasting from the U.S., you now look 5 to 7 years younger. Forget Amber Heard. Remember Tara Reid. I don't know what was up with Tara Reid. Someone who may know what's up with Tara Reid is my good friend and the voice of That Umbrella Guy and Casey Kasem, Valiant Renegade. Valiant.
God, that is a rumor that is never going to die, especially here. But you know what? I'll take it. It is an honor for people to think that I'm actually Tug, that I'm That Umbrella Guy. And even when we have him on this show simultaneously with me, the rumor still flies, but I'll take it. Good morning, and good morning to everybody out there. And since Andrew is not going to simp for himself, I will simp for Andrew. Everybody go simp for Andrew right now. hit that like button, please. We need that help. That's a great YouTube algorithm massage, as well as the share button. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's good to see you. I know you've only got a little bit of time here, so we'll just. I just wanted to get you in here, talk with you for a little bit, and kind of get your take here going into the last day. I don't know if you caught my take there, my hot take, but my opinion is, and I'm pretty strong on this, is that we will know today who wins this case. I believe strongly that this has been a very pro-Depp in terms of evidence, in terms of what we've seen, in terms of the jury sentiment. It's been very pro-Depp. They don't need to deliberate for a long time on this, and I believe they're not served dinner, so they're going to come to that afternoon. They're going to say, hey, we've got this. We've got the facts for Depp. We know Depp. We know what's going on here. We're just going to go in for Depp, and we're going to do that somewhere in the afternoon. I'm thinking 3-4 p.m. at latest during the day, and we get a verdict today. I think if we don't, there's clearly one juror or one or two, it could be two, right, that are hung up, that are pro-Heard for some reason, that may have whatever reason, who knows what it is, whether it's evidence or whether it's something irrational. Because as a juror, technically, you can vote your conscience and just vote whatever. If you believe #BelieveAllWomen, regardless of the evidence, you can just vote. And you can just say, hey, I'm not going to vote for Johnny Depp because #BelieveAllWomen. Then you've got a hung juror that hangs out probably till the end of the week, and then they call it at the end of the week. They wrap it at the end of the week, if it was really hung. But that's my call.
That was going to be my question: is if you have one holdout like that, is there some type of time limit that the judge may assess? Has that been predetermined for this case?
It's not predetermined, but they can. So what they do is they say, hey, we're hung. And they tell the judge. And the judge says, okay, go back, keep deliberating, right? Mm-hmm. And they come back to the end of the day, hey, we're still hung. Hey, we're still hung. And there's a point at which the judge kind of calls them, right? The judge is like, okay, we're going to call it. And typically in a case like this, the end of the week would be the longest. I mean, Friday would be the longest. But to me, if this thing holds out till Friday, it's not looking good for Johnny or Amber recovering, by the way. It's probably a no recovery scenario. It's nobody's liable for anything. It's a wash. You throw it out, and what we get is a Johnny's won the court of public opinion, and there's no recovery here. Johnny's, I think, gotten the win that he wanted to get out of this, which was showing the truth and also exposing. And I don't know if you've seen this article here. This is from Vice. And I commented that I used to love them when they were doing their like tours of North Korea. I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world when they were like going to these banned countries, but you get this one from Vice News, which a lot of people were sharing on Twitter last night. I don't think anybody's reviewed it yet, but this is just an article that's come out literally over the weekend, over the last week. We've all failed Amber Heard, and the commentary, the deluge of abusive content targeting Heard is not only failing Heard and future survivors, but also shaping how young people understand domestic violence. So once again, you're getting a major periodical, a major news station, that's mainstream media now, because Vice used to be kind of independent online, but now they're mainstream, and they're saying that literally they're coming to the conclusion that Amber is the victim of domestic violence, something that the jury hasn't even decided on yet. But they've come to that conclusion because, we've got to believe all women, right?
Yeah, and you ought to see some of the commentary that they got, including my own, when they posted this on Twitter earlier.
Yeah. So this was big when it came out on Twitter. I think everybody went in on this one, but I don't know. I haven't seen anybody actually look at the article, and frankly, the fact that they take umbrage with. The main thing they're taking umbrage with is the fact that Johnny Depp, because the media and the media was painting Amber as the victim, but social media is saying that, hey, it's really Depp who's the real victim, right? The facts of the case are leading towards that. That's what social media is saying. That's what we're saying online, because we're able to speak the truth. We're not paid off. We're not, David Shane is not sliding into our DMs with thousands of dollars to spit some lies. And they're going back to this old trope, which I've talked about, which they've been hammering on, which is memes and reels and social media is violence, right? Calling Heard a liar, a psychopath, a manipulator, right? This is bad. This is toxic, right? This is the line they're going with.
Yeah, I was going to say real
It's
quick,
crazy.
just for everybody out there, the difference, a lot of times people, you look at a news page, go to your favorite news website or something like this, and you'll see an article, an article, an article, and then you'll see a little disclaimer under something that looks like clickbait, and it's like sponsored content, right? And it'll
Yep.
tell you that this is not really an article that we've written, this is a paid placement. The more sophisticated PR teams, in the case like Amber's and most major Hollywood studios that are out there, uh, they do that with a nice lunch at a schwanky Beverly Hills restaurant or in New York, and they take the editor out and they promise them. And you get these articles they look like legitimate articles, and they're legitimate from the standpoint is that Vice in this case has actually put this article out, but the content itself is still technically sponsored, in this case by Amber's team. This
Yes.
is why, I mean, we know she canned her previous PR team. She bought another PR team. This
Yep.
is why you buy the PR teams, folks. You buy them to produce content like this at quote unquote third party news websites. So don't be fooled.
That's a really great factor. Like, let's understand this is the power of celebrity, right?
Yes.
These people aren't just buying this; they're not putting out these articles for free, right?
Yep.
They're requiring. There's a price, right, for everything, and there's a price for these articles, and they're paying for them. Amber is paying for these things to be put out. And what I want people to remember is just remember when you're flicking through the news, when you're looking for information, and you see these same people putting out information on other topics, understand that those very well may be, in fact, they likely are bought and paid for. Those opinions, those articles are likely bought and paid for in one way or another. There's indirect and direct ways to pay for something, right? I mean, clearly, if you're supporting the same story, if you're supporting the same sort of narrative that they've been pushing, right, then they have an incentive to back that up, to back up that claim.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Am I coming through all right? Is my sound all right? Because I know some people said I was a little low.
I can hear you just fine, but we're bouncing in StreamYard. YouTube may be a different story for the folks watching.
Okay.
On the broadcast.
Let me take a poll in the chat. 1 in the chat if I'm low, 2 in the chat if I'm okay, 3 in the chat if I'm like loud. So 1 in the chat if I'm low, 2 if I'm okay, 3 if I'm loud. I just want to test here because I see people randomly being like the sound is low, and I'm like, okay, maybe you need to increase your volume. All right, so I'm seeing 2 so far in the chat. Okay, 2s, so I'm fine. 4. That's not an option. It's not an option. Okay, guys. All right. 3. Any of the 3s there might be. I think are just trolling me. Okay, 2s. 2 wins. 2 wins. Got it, guys. Got it. 2 clearly wins. All right. So yeah, no, I completely agree with that assessment. By the way, of buying, paying for stuff, and just to read this line here because I think this is one that I wanted to read out, which is the overwhelming deluge of content targeting herd is itself abusive and humiliating. And let me zoom in on this, right? So right here, the overwhelming deluge of content targeting herd is abusive and humiliating. Experts say. Who is the expert that's saying that?
That's always the question I ask when I see phraseology like this in any kind of article.
Experts say. Who's your expert? Is it Elaine Bredehoff? Like, who the fuck is your expert? Is it Dr. Hughes?
Yeah.
Who is your expert that's saying that online content is abuse? I don't get that. I really don't.
Well, here's another point to that, and I think Amber Heard's own witnesses, quote unquote expert witnesses, I think somewhat at least tacitly disproved this.
Sorry, I'm laughing because they're like Dr. Spiegel. I'm like, yes,
exactly.
That is possible as well. Yeah.
I was thinking about the data analyst guys that they had.
Yeah.
Once again, 1.2, 1.4 million, whatever the hell it was, tweets, and 1 million of them were what? Hashtag justice for Johnny Depp. So to come on here and saying the overwhelming deluge of content targeting herd, I would respectfully disagree with that and say that if you were also categorizing the overwhelming deluge of support for Johnny Depp as somehow being abusive to Amber Heard it's preposterous. It's ridiculous.
The second statement Sorry, guys, I just woke up, so I got to eat something here. But my like protein bar in the morning, you know, it's like this is breakfast.
I got mine waiting for me to head out the door in about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this last line, I don't think we've only failed Amber Heard. I think we failed all women who've experienced gendered violence.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it goes into believe all women, right? There's an all women thing.
Yeah.
And going back to gendered, you know, once again, this same expert, you know, Dr. Mandy Gray, a gender justice expert, I guarantee you, if I asked her, oh, well, then
what?
you're agreeing that there's two genders. I guarantee if I asked her that, she would disagree. So, you know, it's kind of funny how, you know, women exist when they want them to exist, and then they disappear when they don't want them to, you know, when they don't want them to exist. Very, very, very interesting with these same experts and people. I guarantee if I look into a record, which I could, you just Google that. Maybe I will later when I'm bored. I guarantee you that they have a statement somewhere that gender is a construct. But that being said, I think that the real failure, if you really want to talk about gendered failures, is the failure of men. I mean, and that's why we saw metoo trending. That's why we've seen that Justice for Johnny, part of that movement is to acknowledge that men can be subject to domestic violence. I think the fact that that is a concept that literally makes some people melt down. There are people on this planet that cannot accept that men can be subject to domestic abuse or violence at all. That idea cannot cross the threshold of their mind because it creates so much cognitive dissonance into everything they've learned, everything they've been programmed to, you know, understand and believe, that they can't accept that.
You know, Hollywood actually tried to dive into that about, oh my God, I bet it was almost 30 years ago now. If you recall a movie by the name of Disclosure, starring Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Where he was the victim of sexual harassment by his female boss. And all of a sudden, I cannot remember who played. It was a big headline. Oh, I think it was Demi Moore. In that movie. And I remember jokes were made about it in the sitcoms on TV and things like that. Murphy Brown cracked jokes about it and all. It's like, well, granted, it probably doesn't happen terribly often, but the point is it can happen and it does happen. And, you know, when it really does happen, it's just as atrocious as and bad is when the situation is reversed with a man perpetrating that act. So, you know, you've got to be fair about it, folks. And that's the bottom line. I think this trial has really woke some people up to the fact that, yes, it does go both ways. Granted, it doesn't happen often, but it does go both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, even if the percentages are off, okay, that's fine. I can accept that. That's an argument, right? Okay, this is something that happens more often here than there. Okay, that's great. But that's not what we're saying here. You know, we're saying is, okay, and also what form can it take place, right? Verbal abuse, right? You know, controlling behavior, right? I mean, all of that stuff, it is abuse, right? Just because it's not purely physical, although in Amber's case, we can see that she was physical. She indeed was physical with him. There was physical abuse involved. It wasn't just something that was metaphorical. It wasn't just him calling him a piece of shit, challenging his manhood, right? Calling, you know, emasculating him. That wasn't it. It was more than that. It was also physical because Amber wanted everything to escalate into a physical confrontation. Let me get some of these super chats, and you can probably help me with some of these Valiant, just to run through them because we're really getting a lot. Miss Jade says, "Hey from Sydney, what's up? Good to see my Aussie friends here. I've had a lot of love from Australia, and I really appreciate that. I feel like Johnny Depp is feeling some kind of relief. I can relate to Johnny's history. I'm a survivor of severe childhood trauma and DV. I wish him all the love and healing in the world." And the thing is, real survivors, this is so important, and I really appreciate this comment because real survivors, people who've really been through trauma and DV, they look at Johnny Depp and they see in Johnny things that they've experienced and gone through. They see the same pain. They see the same expressions. They see that Johnny is the one who's suffering here. They see that. And they can read that versus Amber. In none of her mannerisms has she ever shown signs of suffering from abuse or trauma or violence, right? And certainly she doesn't seem,
just doesn't match up.
No, and she does not seem truly afraid of Johnny Depp.
No,
truly fearful of Johnny Depp. Not at all. Not in the least bit.
She's fearful of him leaving her and losing, I think, some of that control, but of himself, I didn't hear that on any of the recordings she made. That she made.
Did you listen to the Australia recordings, Ryan?
Might have. I don't know which ones.
Some of the non-courtroom ones.
So the ones that did not make it into the evidence bin.
Yeah, just curious.
I probably have, and I mean, if I heard them, I could tell you, oh yeah, I heard that one, or no, I didn't. I haven't heard. I mean, I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah, it was a doctor, the doctor and the nurse who were kind of going back and forth and pretty much making it clear that Amber's having a breakdown here. Amber's the one who's the issue, and Amber's the one who needs to be meted up because she's kind of causing all of this issues. So,
again, the man has no history prior to Miss Heard of anything like this at all. And I have to wonder if a lot of his drug and alcohol abuse problems, certainly they didn't begin when they started dating, but it seems like they were greatly exacerbated when they started dating and then got married. I mean, because anytime, I mean, I would have to imagine if you're in a position like Johnny Depp apparently allegedly has been in for many years, that would probably drive you to do some stupid shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I can see that. I mean, definitely if you've been in that position and you've been badgered and attacked for years now, for 2-3 years, I mean, you're going to feel pretty extreme. That cabinet slamming video, I mean, yes, that was because his business partners and lawyers fucked him over. But frankly, if that was from, Amber cursing him out, I would understand that one too, right? I would have understood that if it was from a bad fight with Amber, because Amber is just that bad. And especially from what we heard, that demonic cackling that we did hear in court, right? The suck my dick video. Just that enough, I would slam some cabinets. I mean, that's just me. But but that's rage inducing. Globe Samurai says, what time do you predict I should have my mega pint ready? In Tokyo time, if possible. I'll help you out here. Despite the fact that I am in Orlando, Florida, I am in the US for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So, I'm not on Seoul time, Seoul, South Korea time, which is the same as Tokyo. I do have it memorized. So it should be around 6 a.m., which is 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you tune in at 6 a.m., I think you'll have it come out one way or another. We have no verdict, in which case you probably should throw one back for Johnny because I'm thinking it's not looking good. Or we have a decision. I think that's my call. Now I could be wrong. We'll see. I saw DUI guy posting that the sheriffs say the decision will be tomorrow. There's a whole lot of courtroom scuttlebutt, whether that's true or not, how the sheriffs would know without them deliberating at all. And also that would violate so many different, courtroom rules and procedures. I just don't believe that's credible. Frankly, that they would be able to leak that information.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. Is it possible that, the jury does come to a conclusion today, late in the afternoon, and then they decide let's hold the reading of the verdict until tomorrow morning?
But we would hear about that. We would say, the verdict will be read tomorrow morning, or but it's very unlikely. I think the judge would want to deal with that because the reading only takes frankly 30 minutes max. So
they're not going to be sequestered overnight or stuff like that. Or
no, they're not sequestered at all. They're not sequestered at all. They get to go home. But
that's what I thought.
They don't get dinner. So here, and that's a significant point because, when people get hangry, they get pissed off, they don't want to do anything, and they're allowed to go home whenever they want to go home in the afternoon after 5. So they can call it at 5 and say, yeah, we're done. We want to go home and have dinner. So and they can stay as late as they want, though. So if they really wanted to, they could work late. But unless they're at a verdict or they're very near it, I don't believe they're going to want to stay late when they're hungry and whatever. And I think that because so many of them seem like they're pro Johnny Depp, it just doesn't seem logical that there would be anything but a couple holdouts today that might hold things up. Even if you're working through all of them and you wanted to read through all of them, you wanted to be thorough, right? Because sometimes you have people say, okay, I agree with you. We're both on team Johnny Depp, right? But I know we can just fill in the paperwork to begin with. I know that, right? I'm the guy who's like, hey, just check all the boxes. Let's go. But you, Valiant, you're a thorough guy. You're a numbers guy, right? You're a finance guy. So you want to tick all the boxes. You want to read everything. So you want to go through the charges, those long jury instructions, and you want to read them verbatim. You want to read every word, maybe twice, and check off each one very carefully. If you're doing that process, it is going to take several hours.
Yeah.
That's not a quick process.
I kind of assumed that that's probably all they got done on Thursday. or Friday, whenever the Friday, I guess is when.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Friday.
And they started that process, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were there for a few hours. They probably read through the jury instructions, made sure everybody in the room was on the same page. The 7 final jurors, everybody was on the same page as far as here's the rules, here's what we have to do, these are the specific questions that we have to answer, and then they went home. And I was like, wait, we're going to come back in here Tuesday fresh. Okay, everybody. I mean, I don't know. I presume that they could probably take home copies of jury instructions, could they not? Or maybe provided those? It's not like
No, they cannot. They cannot take home jury instructions. That's
not even the instructions.
No,
Okay,
no.
Okay, that's why I was curious.
They cannot take them home. They cannot take them home because there's potential tampering. There's other people that can influence it. No taking them home. So now they can like look them up because they're public, I guess, but they're not really supposed to be doing that like on their off time. They're really not supposed to be talking about it or messing with it or searching it. So
they're
really
not, but you know how it's got to be almost impossible for that jury. I mean, you're talking about staying off the internet now. I mean, the whole internet for a month and a half. I just, I'm not trying to say they're. I mean, I don't think any of those jurors is trying to do anything that they're not supposed to do. But I mean, just let's talk. It's like saying, you know, don't go take a leak for the next 2 days. Right. It's in this case, it's kind of hard to do that. I'm sure they've probably seen something somewhere just through no fault of their own. I don't think they're getting on the internet trying to go look things up, but it's kind of hard. You go check your email. You go.
How do you not? How do you not? This is trending, right? This is trending right now. And we see even the negative stuff, like I mentioned, like even the Vice articles, even stuff like that. You're going to see something, right? Something is going to be trending on this case because it's pending a verdict. It's just impossible. I mean, literally on your news updates, if you have news on your phone, it's just going to scroll down automatically. If you've got those notifications, I would recommend turning those off. But
yeah,
once again, the court does nothing at this point. The court does nothing to ensure you're not getting this information. I think in 2022, there's something we could do to ensure you're not getting this information, right? Now, a lot of people might consider it intrusive, but, you know, frankly, you know, I'm okay with taking measures to ensure the jury is impartial, right? I can't tell you what those are, but
you could do that on, I mean, I don't know how you do that. I mean, you'd have to make them bring in what? Your work computer, your laptop, your desktop, your iPhone, your iPad, and I don't know how you.
It would be a lot. It would be a lot, but I think it's possible. It's possible to at least, you know, for example, like maybe your phones or something like that. You know, I mean, it's possible to at least say, okay, well, like at least with your phones, we're gonna, you know, disable XYZ, you know, or make sure it's disabled at least while you're deliberating, right? Because that's another thing too. They should not be accessing any of this information during deliberations as well. So, yeah, it's difficult though, because you don't want to have to sequester people. Sequestering people are pissed people. It's not great. They hate it. They don't like to be trapped there. But that's a point for making the trials shorter, more condensed, and less painful, and getting the important information out. Let me answer some of these super chats because they're really rolling in here. David says, I had to get out of a DV situation. No one believed me, so I stopped talking quick. Thanks to JD, I'm comfortable now. Welcome to Orlando, by the way. Yeah, welcome. It's a good city. I love Orlando. But like I said, hopefully, David, this case has emboldened you to bring your claim forward. If you know you've got something to say or something to bring forward, do that. Speak up, because abuse happens to everybody, men and women, everybody, and it can come in different forms. So it's, you know, I'm glad that this trial has emboldened you to come out and speak up and not feel like because you're a man you can't do that. That's inherently wrong. Mandrake says, happens way more often than people want to admit. Just use the teacher-student stories for an example study. It's pretty pervasive. Female perpetrators are not as uncommon as people like to think. Yes, the only thing is the stories for the teachers, the female teachers always get a slap on the wrist, and they do not get the same punishment, which is a major issue that we have.
It definitely has become more common in recent years. I'll say that much. I think you're right, Chad. It hadn't historically been the case, but it's changing.
I like this one, which this is from RM Nayeli, which says, media in France is telling the story as it is, showing Amber as unbalanced with an unbelievable story or performance for that matter. Why are the newspapers in the U.S. saying different? Well, it's not just the U.S., by the way. Shout out to my Aussies. Shout out to my New Zealand folks, the U.K. It seems like, by and large, from what I've heard, in the balance of the U.K. and Australia and New Zealand, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, is still favoring Amber Heard. Right? Not every periodical and newspaper, but the majority, right? 50% plus one, right? There's a majority that are still favoring Amber. Why? Well, I mean, my personal opinion, and I think this is pretty accurate, Valiant, tell me if I'm wrong, is because many of these periodicals, newspapers, journalists have been on this hashtag Me Too, hashtag Believe All Women for the last 5 to 10 years. And it's difficult to give that up and switch gears. It's difficult to change the narrative from Me Too to, okay, Me Too, except Amber Heard, right? That doesn't really work, because then you have to say, okay, well, some women lie. And some people are so committed to this belief that women cannot lie, that women are incapable of lying, which is the most sexist assumption ever. I mean, in and of itself, that is sexist. Saying women don't have the ability to lie, that they don't have the capability to lie. I mean, it's nonsensical.
Yeah.
To try to say that no woman can ever lie or would ever lie, and there's no incentive to lie, particularly when they're a rich person, a person of power, right? And particularly when you are a starlet who is falling from grace. And as you're falling from grace, you need a new grift. You need to look like Colin Kaepernick did, right? When he's failing out of the NFL, you need another grift. And so you want to shift to this, I am the subject of domestic violence grift, which is trending, which is popular, which can get you places in Hollywood. It makes
a lot of these publications have been hanging on to these big stories for so long. And I think we talked about this on a previous episode that we did together. It goes back to, we had that Duke lacrosse case.
Yes,
years ago. If you remember that,
really old one, a really old one.
Well, it was probably the first big national story that started this, and then of course we had, and that turned out to be, guess what? It didn't happen the way that
it did not happen.
Said it did. It went to court, and she basically, if memory serves, kind of recanted everything at that point.
Yes. Sure.
And then we had the big story about, or the alleged story about, I think it was UVA in the Rolling Stone, which the Rolling Stone then got sued by the university. That's University of Virginia, or I think it was either University of Virginia or Virginia Tech. I always forget which one would happen. But American College out there for folks watching abroad. Rolling Stone magazine got soundly sued on that one. They lost, or they settled rather, and they paid a big settlement because it was found that the story about, quote unquote, the R-word culture going on campus was completely fake. They had no evidence to back it up, and Rolling Stone lost millions on that deal. And then, of course, we had other ones like Lena Dunham in her book that turned out to be false. All the big headline hashtag Me Too stories that this movement has been built around have turned out to be complete hogwash. Now, I'm not saying that this never happens. Of course, one abuse victim is too many. Okay. And of course it happens, but I'm saying all the major stories that the media has built this movement around have all turned out, or at least almost all of them that I can remember, have turned out to be bogus. This is another one. I think this is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back for that.
Yeah. And we're seeing additional ones that are just getting defeated. Like even Manson's one, when we're looking into that, we're looking into the facts. It's something that's coming up that maybe the next case that gets covered in kind of the Hollywood Me Too circuit. And it's just looking more and more bad for the allegations of Evan Rachel Wood saying that Marilyn Manson, abused her during a music video and perhaps at other points. And it's looking like people may end up settling, getting out of these cases, dropping them. And this may really put a stop in the flow of these cases because they're not as easy anymore. Because now people have the ability to fight back against them and not just settle, not just sit back, not just kick these people out of their organizations without any due process, without any, checking or verification, because people are actually going to do their due diligence or be called to do their due diligence in the future. I think it may stymie these claims. Now, I don't think it may stop them completely, not 100%, but I think it will slow the flow. It will not be a flood of litigation as it has been for, frankly, the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's legitimately the victim of this type of abuse should pursue legal action and law enforcement. Absolutely, no question. But I think this is good. Like you said, it's going to give a lot of people pause for the ones that are going to lie about it to get some type of PR gain or get money or something, or just to be vindictive against an ex-spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. That's got to come to an end.
Yep. Let me get through some of these super chats because you guys can see we got a ton here to get through. This is like literally where we're at right now at the top. So let me get the first one. Is fake sticky notes, bruise kit, second trial? No, I do not think a second trial is happening. So I had a lot of people, Valiant, have you seen those videos of like her passing like sticky notes that are like essentially like bullying? Yeah, okay, you've seen that. That's not enough to like merit a second trial. They're not going to order a second trial over that. Like I mean, it's possible there could be sanctions, right? Obviously, it's possible. I don't think it's probable, but it's technically possible for courtroom misbehavior. But I don't think they're going to see that. Number one, I don't think you're going to see that. And number two, the second trial is not going to happen at this point. You have to have a fundamental, massive issue in the trial in order for it to be a second trial, or, for example, a mistrial to be ordered here, or dismissed without prejudice, allowing the claim to be brought again. It would have to be very, 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 very severe. I mean, a material withholding on the part of their counsel that the judge thinks would have changed the outcome. That's the big part. The judges say that, but for X, the outcome would change. And if we get a Johnny Depp verdict, well, then would the outcome really have changed? Right? I mean, so we'll see today. I mean, I think at this point it's too late in the game to try to be going back and kind of replaying the major scrimmages of the case. So a lot of times right now at the end, people are finding evidence. A lot of you guys are sending me evidence. You're sending me videos. But frankly, I said it the other day when I said the case is over after the case in chief and before the closings. I meant it, right? At the point of the closings, there's no more evidence, no more new evidence. So Thursday was really the last day of the case. There's no more evidence they can bring in. There's nothing they can bring up and raise. Once they rested, that's it. It was over. And it's in the jury's hands right now, guys. That's it. We've just got the jury. That's all we can that's all we can rely upon now. Now, once it's over, yes, there's possibility for appeal. Of course, there's possibility for a second trial. We've got a perjury trial in Australia, and we've got other things, other charges that may be coming in Australia. People have been sending me really good information on huge charges in Australia. I'm going to bring those up with an Australian lawyer I'm talking with on Thursday, and that should be a fascinating conversation. But so Amber Heard's saga is not done at all. But this case is likely done this week, today, right? Amber Heard is still going to see repercussions for forever, frankly. I think in her career, especially, but this case will be done. So Patrick says, I've seen some argue that Johnny may lose the case on the 2 years ago statement, but if anything, he'd win. Okay, actually, I already answered that one, so sorry. Let me go to the next one. Here we go. This one here. I already answered that one. Okay, there you go. Okay. Pepsi Man says, if you don't get opinions, if you aren't at courtroom. Runkle. Wait, what? Runkle said that? Runkle said you don't have to have an opinion unless you're at the courtroom. I don't know. I don't think Runkle would say that.
I'm sure there's some context that might be missing there.
There's some context you're definitely missing there. But frankly, once again, it's because we've been listening to people like Runkle and everybody who's there. They're not saying anything inconsistent with this statement, which everybody has said, which is the jury, it seems to be, based on all perceptions, to be pro-Depp by and large, right? With one or two people that are kind of ambiguous that maybe they can't really get a good read on, but the majority of the jurors seem to be pro-Depp. Why? Because they're paying attention to Johnny Depp. They're paying attention to Johnny Depp's attorneys, paying attention to Johnny Depp's witnesses, and they are literally tuned out, ignoring, sleeping during Amber's testimony while Amber's attorneys are up. So when you put those things together, which Runkle has said and other people have said, then boom, together, you put those together, they're leaning Johnny. You apply that to the verdict. It should be a verdict that if they're leaning Johnny, they fairly quickly come through with a pro-Johnny verdict. They don't need to deliberate for a week on this. This is not a murder case, guys. Remember that. This is not criminal. This is a civil trial. People do not tend to deliberate as long on civil matters because it's not life or death. This is not somebody's life hanging in the balance. This is money, and it's money from celebrities. And frankly, people think celebrities have unlimited money, even though Amber doesn't. They perceive them to. And so I don't think they care as much about sentencing, or rather finding a celebrity liable for $7 million, $8 million, $10 million, $15 million, because they think they just got it.
Right.
Even if Amber doesn't, by the way, which all paths the thing she doesn't.
Depends if Elon's writing the checks or not.
Yes.
But if on that note, I do have to run. I wish I could stick around, but I've got to get going. Thanks for having me on.
Valiant, thank you so much, guys. Follow Valiant Renegade. He's been great. He's been a good support at this, and I'm gonna have him back on in the future times. Him and his alter ego, that umbrella guy. Follow that guy too. So, anyways, Valiant, take care. Thank you so much, man, and I will catch you later.
Take care, Andrew. Take care, chat. Y'all hit that like button on my way out of here.
Best co-grifter ever. Appreciate it. He's always a great guy to have on. What is your opinion on Eve Barlow being annoyed at Johnny Depp having fun on his tour rather than him sobbing over the trial? They like stalking a monster. Yeah, this is very pertinent. So Eve Barlow has been bitching on social media that Johnny is out there actually on tour, that he's out there performing. And look, he's supposed to be living his life. And I am so glad that Johnny is living his life. Fuck Eve Barlow. Eve Barlow was tossed out of the courtroom, people. Eve Barlow was tossed out. And because of that, I mean, look, because she was tossed out, why are we listening to her? The courtroom doesn't want to listen to her. Nobody wants to listen to her. So it's really, really crazy. And yeah, somebody mentioned about the judge. Can the judge overrule the jury? Yes, the judge can't overrule the jury. It is possible. Do I think it's likely? No, it is not likely. So if there's a decision from the jury, just understand it's not likely to get overturned. Leah says, pro Depp here. Don't get me wrong, but why do the Boston flight tech Stephen Duders were not brought in? Greetings from Germany. Love the stream. Okay, what's up, Vikets over there in Germany? So there must have been a reason. Look, we're not privy to those conversations. We don't actually know right now. Now, those conversations, that information may be released after the trial, especially, frankly, if we get interviews with Ben Chu or Camille Vasquez. If we get to talk to Ben Chu or Vasquez, that would be amazing. And maybe they will explain why those were turned down. But right now, we don't have that information. Let me catch this one, because this is a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. I mean, so generous. Appreciate that. A. Robinson says, women lie too. My own daughter lied to her boyfriend about having herpes. I love my daughter and begged her not to behave this way. Being an RN, I was devastated by her attitude and decision. Appreciate your presence here. This is sad. And Robinson, I'm so sorry that your daughter decided to do that. It is a horrible thing to accuse. And by the way, let me just make this clear. If you accuse somebody of having an STD or STDs in general, STDs are one of the bases for the defamation. So your daughter's playing with fire, especially if she's saying, you have herpes or I gave you herpes to somebody else. That is playing with fire. That is asking for potential liability. It's really that's a dangerous road to go down. So it's really something that she should be cognizant of. Now, saying she has it is one thing, but if she implies that, hey, I gave you it, right, or you have it now, that could be potentially problematic. I'm sorry about that. But people lie, right? Women lie, men lie, everybody lies, right? All humans lie. We have the capability to lie. I'm just as good of a liar as my female equivalent, right? Now, some people are more convincing liars. I think Amber is not a very convincing liar, but everybody does lie, right? Everybody does lie. Okay, so I guess there's some drama, and I'll have to address this again because like Runkle's going against DUI guy. Okay, whatever. I'm not following those guys. I don't follow the drama, but some people can have different opinions. One person might have one opinion, one person might have another opinion. There you go. All right. Next here is from Max Mira, which says, "Oh yeah, you already said don't know if the lighting makes you younger." Yes, thank you. I appreciate looking younger. So Avani says Johnny Depp can win count 2 as well because TMZ was tipped about Amber getting a TRO and also focused on her right cheek 2 years ago, the one time she skipped makeup. I guess that's possible. I mean, they could recover. I'm just saying that I think the sexual violence defamation count is the most probable. I think that's clean. I think the jury doesn't have to debate that. Nobody believes the Maker's Mark bottle story. So I think that's the one that we have here that is strong. Max Mira says, how are actual versus punitive damages defined to the jury? Well, punitive damages are egregious, are obscene, are beyond the pale. I didn't read the exact jury instructions on punitive damages, but punitive damages have to be extreme damages, beyond the ordinary, egregious. There's no way they're going to find punitive damages for Amber Heard. They just don't have that. And that's the only way they would get into that $100 million range. And this would need to be the worst of the worst. Amber hasn't even proved her case, much, let alone prove that Johnny Depp's behavior was the worst of the worst. Remember, we've got cases of defamation with literally Cardi B. For example, Cardi B's case against a YouTuber, where Cardi B was called a prostitute, said that she had STDs, right? And the person came out and said, the YouTuber came out and said, hey, I know she doesn't have these things. I know she's not these things. I know she didn't do drugs. That was another allegation. I know that. I know those are false, and I said it anyways. And even in that case, there weren't punitive damages. So you just got to understand that punitive damages are very difficult to get. So LaSalle said, maybe one juror wanting justice for something that happened personally and not related to this case. Exactly. One Moment says, is it possible that Amber's team has gotten a jury member and that's the reason for the jury ID sealed? It's possible, but that would be a massive violation, right? That would be a massive violation. Dr. Great Northern said, will Amber be held to account criminally? Unlikely. Unlikely that Amber will be held to account criminally. Very unlikely. There's one. Okay, Valiant, we know you are dual connecting to the stream and talking as Tug. No need to hide the talent. Love it, love it, love it. Josh says, if an activist juror admits in deliberation that they are nullifying on ideological grounds or ignoring facts, can the foreman report it to the judge and an alternate be called? It depends on the grounds for which they're doing it, but typically no, right? If they're doing it for impermissible grounds, like something that they said they weren't going to do and they're going to do it anyways, and they say it, that's fine, but you can just keep it to yourself. So usually if you're going to nullify, you just go, no, I don't believe this person, and you just keep it to yourself. You don't have to articulate why you're, voting the way you're voting. You just get to vote, right? You don't even have to give a reason. You can say, nope, I'm not voting that way, and keep it to yourself. So most times a jury nullification happens, they don't even say it. They keep the information to themselves because remember, they're one person against the rest of the jury, and nobody wants to be the odd man out. So if you're the odd man out, you're likely keeping your justification to yourself because you don't want to expose it. And certainly if Amber Heard had paid off a juror, David Shane had slipped some dirty bucks into the juror's pocket, they're not going to want to talk about that. They're not going to want to expose that. Lena says, the umbrella guy is back. Yes, he was back for a short period. Pavan says, did you see Amber Heard writing in the air? That was fucking crazy. Yes, Amber Heard has given off throughout the trial many signs that she has mental issues. So that is very, very true. Escardo says, what are the odds of the verdict today? Hi from Spain. My odds of a verdict today are 90%. I am 90% today. That's my odds for today, and 90% also for Johnny. So I am very confident it's going to be today. If it happens tomorrow, well, let me put it this way. I'm 90% if there's a verdict for Johnny, it will be today. If it's not, if it's going to come out as a wash, I think then it could be tomorrow or the next day, right? And that's why I always leave out the 10% chance. I think there's a 10% chance that, hey, someone could nullify it, right? That it could be a hung jury. And if that happens, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be Thursday. It'll be Friday, right? Mexican Iron Man says, morning. Wake up to my two favorite YouTubers. Did I hear verdict today? Wowzers. After 6 weeks of trial, I thought they'd need more time. P.S. Vice sucks. Yeah, Vice sucks big donkey dicks. Now, look, they could take till tomorrow. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it really decreases the chance of Johnny recovering. I get more nervous if it's kicked till tomorrow. I really do. I really don't think they need to think about this overnight again. They had an entire weekend to think about this. They don't need to sit on this for much longer. Jeanette Lilly says, good morning. Amazing your coverage. I hope all the jurors see she's a complete liar. I do believe that she made him crazy. Yes. Matt says, good morning. Brazil is with Johnny Depp. Yes. Good. Bom dia to Brazil. Good to see you down there. Carla says, I miss the good old days when news outlets reported the news and allowed us to form their own opinion instead of shoving the opinion down our throat. That's why I started my channel, and that's why I want to cover news on this channel with a legal edge, because, guys, a lot of times they're lying to you. And my channel is about you guys being your own judge and making your own decision, and that's the way everybody should have information here. Sheldon Aldridge says, hey, Mr. Legal Mindset, that article, and if Amber Heard wins, it makes me worried as a man. We really do not have protection or rights. Your thoughts? Well, Sheldon, I'm not sure where you are. You said in ZAR. I'm not sure where that is specifically in terms of currency. Is that maybe Zaire? I'm not really sure. But in terms of representation for men, if Johnny Depp loses, I think what it brings up as a point is that for men, maybe the courtroom isn't going to be the best place to seek your justice. And that's a sad moment. It's a sad moment. But at the same time, think about it this way. Johnny Depp did air his side of the story, and he did get his truth out there. And he did take a public opinion, a court of public opinion win. So it does show that it's possible to win in the court of public opinion. Now, he is Johnny fucking Depp. So he isn't like your average Joe. He's got a bunch of money. He's got a bunch of resources. But I think that the biggest win would be if we can get a verdict here. Now, I don't think that men have no rights. I won't say men have no rights, but I will say that it is difficult as a man to come forward with these claims. And what we're seeing is, though, we're seeing more acceptance for that. And also we're seeing communities that are saying that we will accept you and we will believe you. Hashtag men too. We will believe you when you come forward. And that is empowering. And by the way, shout out to the ladies out there, because you ladies out there are seeing the guys coming forward and saying, hey, we're scared. Hey, we've been abused too. Hey, we want to come forward. And I hope that you ladies out there are listening to the men when they come forward with their stories. That's what I want to say. Guys, individually, in your own lives, please try to listen to men going forward. Jonathan says, having worked with both manly men and all women business, and many of my bosses, being, I guess one or the other, have all held equal behavior in both cases, and this includes my experiences. So I think, my experiences of an abusive ex-wife. So I guess what he's saying is it's possible for both to be equally abusive, which I would agree with. Willie Carrick says, Amber Heard, I am an American citizen. Seriously? Like, what the fuck? Like, what does that statement matter at all? Emily says, if Amber Heard was prosecuted for perjury after the first deposition, none of this would have gotten traction. That's true, but I think that perjury is just going to be very difficult to get in America, and it typically doesn't happen, even though I agree, perjury should happen, and I'm actually pro hitting everyone with perjury. I think we should be hitting people aggressively with perjury. That's my personal opinion, because you should not be lying to the court, be lying to police. It's just something you shouldn't do. By the way, guys, there's 20,000 of you in the chat. Please smash the like button. We've got about 3,000 likes. Let's get to 10,000, right? We get at least half of you liking it video. So please make sure to take time to smash the like button on the video. Kendall says, what if Johnny Depp is awarded money and Amber Heard declares bankruptcy? Well, then the bankruptcy court has to sort it out, right? So the bankruptcy court, if she declares bankruptcy, the bankruptcy court will have to sort it out, and they'll have to determine how much she can really pay or not pay. And they may determine that Amber Heard has to make payments going forward, and that they're not going to let her off the line because she's got income and they can garnish that income. The DUI guy thinks the sheriff's comments are just to stop people loitering around the courthouse today. He's calling BS on it also. Yeah, I'm calling that too. And I think that the verdict is coming today. I think the factors point to today. I think the sheriffs could not possibly know what's going on. So there's no way for the sheriffs to do that. That's why I say the verdict is here today. Today will be the verdict one way or another, guys. One way or another. David said, I had to get out of a DV situation. No one believed me, so I stopped talking quick. I am comfortable now. Welcome to Orlando. I read that one before. Mandrake says, happens way more often than people want to admit. Oh, I read that one as well. I'm getting all the ones I read here, so hold on. So here you go. So Venray says, hypothetically, if the jury decided on a one lost on Friday, how long do you think they would deliberate on damages today? So hypothetically, it's a great question. If the jury decided on Friday who won, and today they're deciding damages only, I think they don't go past noon. If the jury thinks today that Johnny Depp is recovering and all they're deciding on is the amount, I don't think they go past noon. Because look, people aren't going to sit there doing math for a long time, And don't make any Asian jokes, even though that's the majority of the jury, guys. I'm the only one in Asia, so I'm allowed to do that normally. But the point of the matter is that I don't think they're doing math for 4 hours. That sounds preposterous. I think they do it for a couple hours. They come back. It's read maybe before lunch, if they're just deciding on damages. This is a hypothetical, guys. I don't agree with that, though. I don't think they've come up with a decision on who's won or lost yet. I think it's going to take till the afternoon. That's my personal opinion, right? As a lawyer, I think that's where I'm at on this one. Yoga Bear says, #men2. Awesome. Christopher says, the gynocracy cannot help but triple down on the story, just like Amber. She is truly the spokesperson she wanted to become. That's very, very, very true. She has become the spokesperson for the radical left, for the radical SJW agenda. Liz H says, I thought the judge said they needed to say yes to all three to award him. Did I mishear that? You did mishear that. He does not need to recover on all three to get it. He just needs one count to recover. So you did mishear that. If the jurors did go out on social media, the first person they would have checked is #thatumbrella_guy. Love listening to you two. Yes, they would have 100% checked Tug because Tug is the one who's been quoted most in the court. It's insane. Elaine Bredehoff's decision to cite that umbrella guy is insane. The fact that she chose to cite that umbrella guy in her closing just drew attention to that umbrella guy. It's absolutely crazy that she wanted to do that. Sindora said, as a survivor of abuse, I can say you don't talk to the abuser the way Amber talked to Johnny Depp. You instead do your best not to do anything that would set them off. Exactly. And real people that have really been abused have been saying that consistently. Bullwinkle Sprinkle says, I think the jury already had a verdict Friday, coming in today to hammer out the money award. Okay, that's a theory. You guys are allowed to have that. And look, if you guys are right, that's awesome. Then we get a verdict today in the morning. That would be cool. Sonny says, were there any Amber Heard witnesses that you found credible? That's a very good point. I think Josh Drew, to a certain extent, was credible when he talked about the three-way that Elon Musk and Cara Delevingne and Amber Heard had. But that didn't get into evidence. So I think the three-way is very credible. I think that definitely happened, but that didn't make it into evidence. But I do think it's very credible. Al Southwest said, I think the UK are sticking to it because of the Sun. Yes, I would agree with that. The Sun has been hard on this. And, of course, the Sun has been burned. So the Sun is clearly going to be anti-Johnny. Totally disgusting. Everyone I know is behind Johnny Depp. I love him now more for his strength. Respect JD. Yes, you can respect him for standing up to literally the world and the entire world's media. Except for, I guess, in France, where I guess they're exposing the truth, which is awesome. Terelashan says, it's so much worse than women don't lie. They say, yes, women lie, and Amber is lying, but it doesn't matter. Believe all women. That's a great point. Amber is lying, and they're saying, hey, we see her lying, and ignore the fact that she's lying, and #believe all women. That's very, very true on that one, which is crazy. Breaking news, Amber Heard's PR team is now solely focusing on efforts on promoting Jason Momoa because the light from Jason Momoa will shine on Amber Heard. That's crazy. That's crazy if they're trying to do that. But, Jason Momoa is not comparable to Amber Heard. They're not even in the same ballpark. Not even close. Tony says, do you think this trial will help prevent a long-term destructive impact from men due to the Me Too movement? Okay, so this is a good one. I think this trial will shed a light on this issue and bring it to the forefront so that people start addressing it and men can get help. I think that now men are going to feel more comfortable coming forward. Men are going to speak up. And we're also going to acknowledge that men and women, hey, are different, right? If you want to say, hey, there's gender differences, okay, let's acknowledge that. Let's acknowledge that, hey, maybe men don't deal with trauma and abuse the same way that women do. And maybe when men are abused by women, maybe they're keeping it to themselves because they're shamed from coming forward. Maybe that's what's going on here. Alexander says, the English-speaking media cannot accept they got it wrong and admit they chose the wrong figure for B2, and now the commentary hit pieces. Yes, 100%. They chose the wrong person. Right? This was not the fight to pick. There's plenty of other people that have been valid cases for Me Too. In fact, look, if we want to focus on something fucked up, let's 100% go with some valid cases like Epstein, right? Jeffrey Epstein. It's 100% there. Don't forget J.J. Abrams, Time's Up protected Como. Yes, that's very true. Minelli says, saw Chris Rock performing in Paris a few weeks ago. He made an Amber Heard joke everyone was laughing at. except that one section was booing. Turned out they were feminists, and he told them to shut up, and everybody laughed. That's amazing. I love that. Josh says, Me Too has turned into a useful political weapon, as evidenced by the Kavanaugh hearings. That's why the woke media and activists will back Amber at all costs. That's very true. Katerina said, this case has shown that the mainstream media lies to us, even though they know the truth. I've blocked MSN people, are shifted to YouTube channels for content, Lawtube, and everywhere else, really. Art, news, commentary, and people who are in the public speaking about it. Yes, that's very true, Katerina. Very true. David, Amber displayed multiple points of deception, from contradiction to mouth covering and false turtling. Shoulders in, necks out equal deception. That's a great read of body language. All of Amber's body language, all of it, showed that she was lying, that she was deceiving. 100%. Oh, also, is Christina in the chat? Christina, I sent you a link on Instagram. Get in here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop being irresponsible. Clean your act up. Get your life together. So yeah, get your life together, Christina. Make better decisions. All right. Jaheen had a $1 super chat. Thank you. We got the one from A. Robinson. Renee says, hello from Luxembourg. Justice is prevailing. Amber is going to lose today. If she wins, millions of real men will have to suffer in the future. That is very true. This one here, 199 says, will Amber Heard and team face consequences for faked pictures? They could. It would be sanctions in the court, but I don't think it's likely. Don't think it's likely. Katerina says, with so much perjury, conflicting stories, her sister especially, that they didn't point out, why did the judge allow this much perjury? Well, listen, it's all about their side of the story. And remember, there's always multiple stories, and it's okay for stories that conflict. In court, people's memory isn't perfect. And because people's memory isn't perfect, you can expect different stories. That's to be expected from courtroom testimony. And let me actually see if I can get the actual quotes on this, because I actually see you guys here in the chat, and I think I can get these ones actually pulled up in the chat. But thank you guys. Really appreciate all the support you're having. And guys, make sure you're smashing the like button on this. I know all of you are subscribed, but thank you so much, because I've actually gotten to 66,000 subscribers, which is freaking amazing. Like, I could not have done that without you guys, really, honestly. So I just wanted to say real quick, thank you so much for the support. Thank you much for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for supporting content where people are telling the truth about this case, unlike the mainstream media, right? Which is the biggest difference between Lawtube and pretty much everywhere else, The Sun or everywhere else. Lisa, Runkle is being misquoted. Check the context. Yeah, I have to go and get the context, right? I'm not streaming Runkle 24/7, guys. I'm sorry. I can't follow every elf out there. And I love Runkle. He's a really nice guy. He's my boy. But I don't have the context on that right now. I can look it up to get the context. But frankly, I see there's some tension. I know there's tension between Runkle and DUI guy. And to comment on that for like the nth time, but also I always say the last time, I'm not picking a side here. I'm just saying it's clear there's tension between DUI guy and the Legal Bites team. And I can include everybody who's on the Legal Bites streams. It's kind of the Legal Bites team. There's a lot of tension there. There have been some awkward moments on streams in the last couple of days when, people have asked questions, and I know people have refused to answer. So, I'm not wading into that. All I'm saying is there's different opinions on this, which is fine. But the issue is that I don't give a shit about the drama. What I care about is the assessment in the court. And in the courtroom, everybody has said consistently, whether it's Runkle or DUI guy, both of them have said that the jury seems to be pro-Depp. So that lines up, which leads me to believe that we're getting something today, not tomorrow. Marty McFly says, how does Chris Brown beat the hell out of Rihanna with proof and his career barely skips a beat? Johnny Depp is accused by Amber Heard with zero proof and he's canceled. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is, guys. That's the way. I mean, and once again, we're seeing fake abuse that's been multiplied do better. And look, and guess what? that was never touted out there as racism, right? Because you get Rihanna, a black celebrity, who has literally the crap beat out of her. I mean, her face was horrible. She canceled all engagements for 3 weeks. I mean, absolutely disgusting. And then Amber Heard, by contrast, with no bruises, no real damage to her person at all that we've seen, no medical records showing any damage. And everybody is behind her, standing her, saying we have to believe everything she says. Pretty insane. Robert says, legal mindset. What area of law do you practice? I practice multiple areas of law. Most recently, and consistently, I practice corporate law, so representing corporations, doing a lot of stuff on the transactional side, real estate side, finance side. But I've also dealt with liability, right? I've dealt with big civil cases against clients, and some of which I can't mention. I'm actually dealing with a client right now that is being sued. Now they have a trial counsel because I don't go to trial, but I'm working closely with them, right? So I have clients that get sued all the time, and I know how these things work. And a lot of times we come to settlements. In fact, most times there's settlements in big cases with corporations and everyone else. So this case is an exception. The Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case is a rare exception with not a settlement, where these things go to trial. Most of the time, these things would be settled because, as you've seen, trial is not fun for Amber or for Johnny. It doesn't look good for either. It's a bad look in both cases for both parties. So let's just be very, very clear about that. Charlie says, if Johnny Depp wins, will Amber Heard shout, "I am not suicidal," 19 times? Okay, if you guys don't get this reference, this is from the Jussie Smollett case, where he's shouting, "I am not suicidal." And by the way, Jussie served 1 day in jail before he was taken out. 1 day in jail. A complete injustice. He should have served way more. Monica said, a winning verdict for Johnny Depp would be a great birthday present for me and my daughter. Oh, congratulations. Hey, shout out to you and your daughter, Monica. And if you both have the same birthday, that's kind of, was that planned? Would that happen by happenstance? That's awesome. So happy birthday, by the way, to you and your daughter, Monica. And may, she grow up to be a person who is, clear thinking, who is balanced and fair, and who, understands the reality of issues and can listen to the facts and judge them for herself. Next, we've got one from, here we go, Mo, who says, it's still strange that she never mentioned the pain while applying makeup over bruises and cuts. Just saying. Yeah, you would really feel it if you got pummeled in the face. She used the word pummel. If you got pummeled in the face, you would feel it. You would 100% feel that. Caroline says, going on a trip with my mom and put you on. My mom says, oh my God, is this legal mindset? Yes, it is. So what's up? Hey, Carolyn, thank you so much. Hello, Carolyn, Ann's mother. I hope you're doing well. Know that you're in good company. My mother watches all of my streams. Hey, Mom, how's it going? I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. So moms can sometimes be our biggest fans and I think our best friends. So I love my mom. She's one of my biggest fans. She's one of my biggest supporters. And, honestly, we wouldn't be where we are in our lives without good moms and solid moms behind us. So shout out to your mom. Hope you enjoy your trip. Get there safely, travel safely. And while you're going, make sure you're ingesting facts, not BS. So appreciate that. Appreciate that very, very much, Carolyn. Really, I do. Maria says, that's why I wrote the op-ed, because he's powerful. She's so toxic and a pathological liar. As a victim myself, I can't even stand to watch her great channel. And guys, if you guys are out there, if you are writers, if you are people who can write, who can publish, who have blogs, please send us your information. Please send it to me. Please send it to the other Lawtubers. We need to amplify positive messages about real abuse, about real cases. So if you're out there and you're creating content, let us know. We will amplify. We will back you up. We are trying to create a community where we get the truth out there, where at the end of the day, the truth is the most important factor, not the BS. So guys, if you're doing work out there, if you're an investigator, if you're somebody who wants to work with me, if you live in another country, I said yesterday, if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in the UK, and you're happy to work with me on issues, to talk with me about local issues, reach out to me. I need people locally who I can say, hey, what's going on in the UK? What's going on in New Zealand? What's going on in Australia? Because I want to cover issues that are not just in the United States. I normally live outside of the United States, And I do believe that justice is something that is international. It is not just restrained to the United States. We do not have a monopoly on justice. Justice can be served wherever you are in the world. Satan sent me a £1 super chat. So I do deeply appreciate that, Satan. I guess I have to say hail Satan. I guess I mean, is that what I have to go with here? I'm really not sure here what's appropriate, but I guess we can go with that for now. But I do appreciate that. Every pound counts, because guys, I'm going to tell you something about this case. In this case, we have been shut down repeatedly. We have been silenced. We have been demonetized. All of our streams here are being brought down, are being minimized. They're being kind of suppressed in the algorithm. It is only through you guys sharing them, you guys liking them and supporting us, that we're able to get this information out there and doing this on a consistent basis. That's the only way to do it. Jesper says, I've been watching you from Denmark during this trial. I've been to Korea 4 times. Hopefully we can have a beer together next time I come. Awesome. Jesper, let me know. Hit me up in my DMs. Guys, Twitter at The Legal Mindset on Twitter. Best place to contact me. Second best, Instagram, Esquire International, ESQUIRE International, INTERNATIONAL, right? International on Instagram. So follow me on those two. That's the best places to contact me. If you want to contact me directly, you can also send me an email, andrewesquirelive@gmail.com. That's also possible as well. Christopher says, 4,000 American kids are torn away from their fathers every single day in family court. If it looks like America is rotting away, there's a clear reason why. I'm going to say this right now, guys, and this is a topic I've covered separately and I am passionate about. I think that, and I will say this strongly, kids need fathers and mothers. They need both. They need good role models from both. A society is not going to prevail based on one side of the story being told. We need them to see good examples of good guys and good women. It needs to both happen in order for society to be strong, and also for people to come through who don't end up like Amber Turds, right? You need to have great fathers and great mothers in society. So I definitely agree with that. Let's be real. Is ACLU suing Johnny Depp? Can you explain? Will you cover the Manson trial? Love your style of not giving a shit and reading all the chats, even the raunchy ones. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I will say whatever. That's my style. If you don't like it, guys, if you don't like my style, go to another channel. Go to another channel, because I'm not going to stop. I'll curse when I feel it's appropriate. When I get worked up, I curse. You don't like it? There's tons of other channels that are kosher, right? They're they're approved by the most conservative of churches, of imams, of rabbis, right? That is not me. That is not me. As for the ACLU suing Johnny Depp, I have not seen that complaint yet. I have not seen that complaint yet. Now, let me look that up real quick to see if I have it. So I guess, let's see here. I have not seen that the complaint yet. So until I see a complaint from the ACLU, and if you guys have seen it, let me know. But until they file a lawsuit, talking about suing somebody is not the same as suing them. I can say, I'm going to sue Amber Heard. That doesn't mean shit. I haven't filed a lawsuit. Until you file a lawsuit, you're just talking shit. That's it. That's my take on that. All right. Here we go. Next one is Lisa Harvey says, I am a Brit, and as a Brit, I am disgusted with the UK trial. Dan Wooten is a piece of poo. I am Team Johnny all the way. Thanks for your coverage. Great job. Yeah, and I've had Jordy on, my good friend from the UK, and the UK web for the UK trial is so incestuous. And the fact that the judge literally retired after the case, it just has suspect all over it. I mean, it was insane. I mean, it was really insane. I didn't realize that till I really looked into it, and I'm like, wow, this is really crazy. And it has nothing to do with what the outcome may be here. It has nothing to do with what the outcome may be here in this case. Max Miro says, what happens at 69 subs? 69 for 69. This is not a Jack Murphy stream, Max. Calm down. Calm down. Although I will take 69K subs. I will take it. If you guys haven't subbed, please. I hope today is the one that decides it. Beat Yokse says, greetings from South Korea. Oh, awesome. What's up in South Korea? But not awesome that you lost custody of your son and paid huge alimony because of a false allegation similar to JD. Courtrooms tend to favor women on any domestic related cases, which is bullshit. Thanks for the great work. Yeah. Hey, if you're in Korea, feel free to hit me up when I'm back, either me or Legal Vices lawyer Busan. He's actually there, so if you wanted to hang out with Legal Vices, you can hit him up too. He's in Korea right now. I'll be back in 2 weeks. But yeah, clearly it's not right to have false allegations and also to lose your kids. These are real consequences. These are the real consequences of false allegations. And this is the problem. This is a giant problem, and this needs to be stopped. It just needs to be stopped. We cannot be believing all women at the detriment of men in society. Monica says, media in Italy is telling the same BS as the United States. I just found out one newspaper is pro Johnny Depp. This is insane. Wow. Only one? Only one? How is that possible? I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. By the way, shout out to Catherine Clay, who I see is in the latest member here. Guys, Catherine, as a member, you get access to all the emojis. You get the soju bottle. You get Andrew. You get Adam, which is my hoodie persona. You get the cat girl, the vampire girl. You get the toilet. And there'll be other memes to come and other icons to come in the future when I get them made. Luke Goslin says, what happens if Johnny wins Pirate 6 money and Amber can't afford to pay? Well, she could declare bankruptcy, right? She can declare bankruptcy, but she could also get her wages garnished. That's the thing. So understand that she is not going to get off and be able to recover her pay from these movies and not pay the verdict. It's going to get docked from her in some way, shape or form. Radix, stop talking on the chat and get in here. I will definitely flame you for not getting in here, Christina. Get back to work. Sweetheart says, you're my favorite on Lawtube. Did you invent a new word? Happenstance. It's very possible, guys. I'm actually, my best friends when I was growing up, they literally accused me of inventing words. I invent so many words, just so many words. It's not even funny, but it's the power of combination, right? Miami is famous for irregardless, right? Which is not a word, but we essentially made it a word, and everybody down there uses it. So it's become a word, right? I invent words all the time because you know what? Language is fluid. Language is not static. Language is constantly changing. We're adding words to the dictionary. We're adding words to our lexicon. So why not invent some words here on Legal Mindset? We have the right to invent words too. Hashtag mindset words matter. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something. I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. Monica says, her birthday was Sunday and she's a big Johnny Depp fan. Also watched the trial, but so behind. Hey, you can catch up. You can catch up 100%. So definitely try to catch up. Let me read some over here, these super chats that we got over here on the side. And then we'll bring in a certain somebody who's lurking to the side with her camera off. So we got right here Monica, which says her birthday was Sunday. And she's a bit. Oh, so by the way, happy birthday once again to your kid. Roxy Blue says, your words to the birthday girl gave me tears. May we teach our children well and make them learn justice and not gender bias. Guys, that's so important that kids, that the next generation, because what I am worried about is the next generation. And I'm going to be honest with you. I am 35 years old, right? I was born in 1986. I'm 35 years old. Old ass man, according to some, right? And when I talk to people who are in their 20s, you know, if I talk to a girl who's 21, 22, and, you know, I'm chatting with them, the language they use all of this gender violence language, right? They're using gaslighting. They're using toxic. They're using, you know, all these other certain ways to frame as toxic masculinity, blah, 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 you know, patriarchy, blah, blah. They're using all of these terms, right, in casual conversation, just off rip. It's too much. And that's what I worry about is this next generation and what's being pumped into their head. If they're being pumped into their head that half the population and all men are evil, toxic psychos that are here to dominate them, that's going to poison their mind. That wife of his says, my 15-year-old approves of me listening to you because you swear. Well, to that 15-year-old, I say, fuck yes, stay based. You're awesome, right? Speaking of based, I'll bring in Radix Farum here. Christina.
Whee!
Yes. Are you like, you know, in a smock right now? Like, what are you doing?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I just shame you so hard? You're like, all right, I just have to get on regardless of my camera.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing with your life?
Well, I'm being toxically masculine, and I am.
I know, you love to see it.
Yes, I am using my toxicity to badger you into coming on and having a conversation.
No, I like to come on your channel.
Okay, I appreciate that, Christina. I really do. So what do you think? And let me catch some of the super chats, and I want to get your opinion here. So Red Lee says, "Have you seen Eve Barlow is going nuts at JD?" Well, bitches go crazy when they're about to lose. Did you see that too, Christina?
On Twitter? Yeah.
On Twitter,
she's nuts.
she's
Yes.
fucking nuts.
And she's like a little bobblehead, you know. She's short and she's like super skinny and like small, but she has this really big head and puffy hair. Like when you see her in person, she just looks like a little bobblehead.
But she's like, yeah. It's also funny you calling her short, right? Because are you taller than her? You think, Christina, or is she got you?
Size. I can call her short though. It's okay.
Okay. So the short girl could call the other short girl out. Got it.
Yes, that's right. And at least I have a chest, unlike some people.
Hold the fuck out right now. Hecate says Alejandro Romero won the trial. Okay, well, I mean that's good. That's very good. Christopher Williams says, please call Rekieta Law and wake him up. I'll text him. I'll see if I can get him up. Jermaine Down says, when you're back in South Korea, have some soju in my honor. I miss it so much. Keep rocking on. U.S. Navy, Yongsan, 2004. Awesome, man. I am a big fan of soju. I also love makgeolli. Really amazing. So I will definitely have that when I'm back in 2 weeks. Right now, I'm just being a Florida man. And, Christina knows all about what that's like.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I'm doing all the Florida things. Let me put it that way.
I bet.
All of the Florida things. All right. Catherine McGuire said, 305 girl. Oh, 305 girl. Killian. Oh, shit. I knew a girl from Killian, and she was trouble. She was trouble. Class of 99. Shit. Okay. I graduated from high school in 2004. So you could have been my babysitter. But it's still the same hood. It's still the same time. It's still the same era. So I appreciate that. Enjoy your stateside vacation. I love all your coverage. Justice for Johnny. Today is a day. Yes, today is the motherfucking
I think
day.
it's happening today. You think these people want to sit around any longer? They've given up 6 weeks of their life. And they're over it. Shit.
So Christina, you were in that court. Let me close this for a second. I'll get back to the super chats. But Christina, you were in that courtroom. Is there any scenario in which you see them all being pro Heard or them being majority pro? I mean,
no.
Okay,
no,
thank you.
Certainly not. And like you said, Asian men tend to be pretty based. I'm pretty sure they all know what's up.
I'm pretty sure that's because this is the Koreatown folks. And I get that people say, and I know this, guys. Trust me, I know this. I hang out with both the American Asians and Asians too. I don't just discriminate, but I understand that people who are here are different than people that are there. Blah blah blah. But that being said, it seems like those jurors, based on the description of those jurors individually, not just based on their race, but their actual description of what they were doing, it seems like they were tuned out during a lot of Amber Heard's testimony, during her lawyer's testimony, I had to testimony because fucking Elaine was leading so much. It might as well have been goddamn testimony. But during the closing, during any of the presentations coming from Amber Heard's side, they were tuned out.
Yeah, and Elaine is so unlikable. She's just so unlikable.
Yep.
She is not. I don't see Elaine I don't see anyone on the jury being like, that's my girl, with Elaine. Yeah, I believe her. Let's listen to her.
She sounds credible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She sounds like somebody I can believe in. Right.
And, for the autistic juror, my autistic warrior, you know how it is. Autistic people are for some reason, it's harder to emotionally manipulate us because autistic people like myself are more analytical in their thinking and less emotional. So yes. I think that my autistic warrior is not going to be fooled by any of the nonsense. He took tons of notes. He's going to know everything.
Yep. When you're on that spectrum, you're not going to get the BS is not going to pass you, right? And that's the thing, like
you have like a manipulation filter.
People got to understand there's like pros, right? There's like literal pros to that, right? I mean, people who think that's a detriment, it's like, no, that's literally an advantage in certain things. It actually has like evolutionary advantages, right? In terms of the way you think and the way you process information, and you have an advantage over other people in certain ways. So yeah.
Socially, I don't know.
Social disadvantage. Social disadvantage, right? But analytically, it's a huge advantage.
Yes.
Yeah. Gabrielle says Johnny was out of control in that relationship. Okay, so we got an Amber here. We got an Amber Stan from Gabriel, right? Gabriel, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Amber Heard is not going to sleep with you. Let me just be very clear.
You're not going to even get to touch the boobies.
You're not going to touch the boobies. Don't worry about it.
Not happening.
But she was reactionary, but he was the problem. Confesses alcoholism, was out of control. Okay, so let's say one thing. Let's say he's an alcoholic, which I'll actually accept he's an alcoholic. Alcoholism does not equal abuse always, right?
No.
Just because you have a substance abuse problem doesn't mean you're a abuser, a domestic abuser, or a sexual abuser.
Exactly. Now, there's a huge difference.
Now, they can be correlated, but as we've established in life, correlation is not causation. And additionally, did Amber Heard not have a drinking problem? Did she not drink $20,000 of wine per month?
That's crazy.
Would you qualify that, Gabriel, as an alcohol problems, right? Would you not qualify that as an alcoholic? I think so. So you got to say that it goes both ways at a bare fucking minimum. Now, I will say one thing.
Exactly.
You want to make a comment? Should Johnny have said everything he did? No, but I think he owns that. I don't think Johnny thinks that everything he did there was right, and was he should have done it. Of course, when you do something fucked up and you're angry, you look back and you're like, you know what? I was angry. I was irrational. I shouldn't have done that. But the only person who has expressed human contrition is Johnny fucking Depp.
Yes.
According to Amber Heard, she has done nothing wrong. Not once has she admitted to doing anything wrong or taken any responsibility. Johnny Depp has taken responsibility for his end on this.
Yeah, zero self-reflection for Amber. And in fact, I think that even if she loses, I think she's going to double down. I don't think there's a redemption arc for Amber. I don't think she goes, oh, gee, guys, maybe you were right. I really learned my lesson here. I lost this case and everybody thinks I'm a psycho. So let me do some self-reflection and I'm going to come back better. I'm going to change. There's not going to be I'm sorry. I just don't think we're going to get a redemption arc.
There's
for Amber.
No redemption arc.
I think she's going to double down, just like the media. I think they're going to double down also.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I will just say, I am so annoyed. I have 7 copyright strikes from my commentary just from the trial. It's literally just little clips of the trial and my commentary over it. But I'm getting copyright strikes by these mainstream media companies like Daily Mail UK.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yep.
And the videos from Sky News. It isn't that has nothing to do with them. What is wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's what this is all public information, right? This is a trial. We're covering this as fucking fair use. And this is the thing. This is how far, guys, they're willing to go to suppress us. Is we're just trying to put out facts, and literally the mainstream media, TMZ, all these outlets are coming out of the woodwork like dive bombers, attacking us, and even YouTube.
Yeah.
This is a yellow stream. This is not going to be something that's going to go green, right? Which means fully monetized, right? We're already demonetized just by covering this topic. Just
and
understand
now,
that.
If you do get monetized, they'll file these little copyright claims against you. And if you don't dispute them, they automatically take your monetization. That's literally what they're doing right now. I have 7 of them that I'm dealing with.
7, guys. 7. That is insanity. That is an insane level.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It really is. It really is. Quick says, fluid like Jack Murphy. No one is fluid like Jack Murphy.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Smosh NZ said, papers shouldn't be pro or against either party. I will say this much. Papers should state the facts. And if you put together the facts on this case, the facts are pro Johnny Depp. I am pro truth and pro facts and pro objectivity, right? But when you see facts lining up on one side, you just have to state the facts, right? I've seen XYZ. I am basing my opinion on XYZ evidence. If you're an amber stand and you've seen evidence, prove it. But all I hear from the amber stands is sentimental arguments or arguments based on stuff that's not admitted in a court. None of their arguments have been admitted into court. No amber stand is coming up and arguing that literally the doctors for their side are more credible than the doctors for Johnny's side. They can't. That's a joke. That's a fucking joke, right? To try to argue that Spiegel is the credible doctor here. I mean, come on now.
Sorry.
Come on now.
Oh my God. Spiegel.
Holy shit. Scott Campbell says, a little levity. Camille is so hot, I'd date her dad just to see where she came from.
Oof.
Adopted from Letterkenny. I watched like the first season of Letterkenny. I watched. I think it got really quick. Really, like kind of the gimmick got a little bit old for me. But the first season was really good. I think I may have watched the second season too. But like, there's eventually a point where I was like, okay, I get it, right? But good stuff. Good stuff. Good series. Wouldn't irregardless simply mean regardless? Yes, irregardless. I love the stream. Thank you. Thank you. Clearly, it is irregardless of how you feel about irregardless. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Z Scrub says, much love and respect from Serbia. What's up? What's up, my brother?
Serbia. I have to say,
brother.
I attend a Serbian Orthodox church. You love to see it. Serbians are based. They are awesome.
Awesome. Yes, definitely a lot of base Serbs out there.
They literally like get drunk after liturgy.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome. I love it. I love it. Shobit Varma said, what do you think the jury thinks about the dank humor that Johnny Depp had? Can you make an impression of guilty? Loved you on Recato Law. I think people use humor to deflect pain, and I think that can come through. Is that is his style. He's got a kind of a darker style. And I think that he's clearly got a consistent persona. I think that what Johnny, the way he expressed himself, I think it was clear on the stand that he was suffering from this. I could feel that from him. And his sense of humor, though, it was something that connected and resonated. Amber Heard just does not have that. But what do you think about his sense of humor on the stand, Christina? Do you think it helped him or do you think it hurt him?
I honestly think it helped him because I was there in the courtroom. I saw how everybody kind of reacted to it. Everybody was focused on what he was saying, and he made it sort of like, I don't want to say entertaining, but like when you're sitting there all day in these wooden, like they're basically like pews. They have no cushions on them. It's very boring. It's like hard to stay awake. He made it, I guess, interesting. And people seem to like relate to him through his humor. Like he was making jokes and stuff. And I think it kind of made it so people were like, oh, this is like a regular guy. I can relate to him. And I think the jury felt that way also. I think it ended up helping him. And he was really funny too, the way he kind of like was going back and forth with Rottenborn. Like, yes, you continue to read them correctly. Like when he was reading his text messages and stuff that were really like, off the wall goofy, because he's trying to be like Hunter S. Thompson, his idol, in these crazy messages and the way he's writing, which he did explain, by the way. So I think that it ended up helping him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that in a lot of cases, some of the testimony can come off as extreme, right? Because Hunter S. Thompson was an extreme guy. If you've seen if you just seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that the way he thinks is not straight down the line. So that just explains his relationship with Hunter S. Thompson. Explains a lot. It just really explains a lot. By the way, somebody sent me this. It said, talking about birthdays, they sent me this.
Oh my God. A mega pint. Oh my God.
Oh, so great. God, dig it. Guys, on this channel, we love the memes, so I appreciate it. I appreciate it when you send them over. It always makes me laugh. It is good shit, as we would say. Christopher says, feminism is creating a generation of reverse Stepford wives, the robots regurgitating tropes and propaganda.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
right.
God.
Hey,
You
Christina,
have
what do you
no
feel?
idea.
How do you feel about that?
Well, okay, so you guys know I live in Northern Virginia, right? Very close to the Beltway. And we'll just say the kind of women that live in my neighborhood are the kind that put like Ukrainian flags in their yard, but they can't even point to where Ukraine is on a map or anything like that. And then they'll go down like with their little kids that are 7 years old and protest in front of like the Supreme Court and then post pictures all over their social media like the little narcissists that they are.
Yep.
That's absolutely correct. And then when you go and try to talk to them, they have no idea why they think anything they think. It's like, well, why do you support Ukraine? And they don't even know. They're just like, because everybody does. Like, this is the current thing. I support the current thing.
The current thing, right.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you're supporting Amber Heard, that's like the extreme example of the current thing. Like
Yes.
you're supporting what they're telling you to support, and you have no fucking clue why, and you haven't done any of your research.
Right.
Because if you had done it, you'd realize that in this case, all the facts are pointing to Johnny Depp being the one who's.
I live 2 doors down from Joe Biden's gender czar.
Oh my God, are you kidding me right now?
Crazy feminists.
Oh my God, Jesus, that's horrible. Nico Blue Serb. So we got another Serb up in here. So what's up? Says 15 minutes of counter. Can't forget DY and all your reaction laughing so hard. Man, that was fucking hilarious. I love that. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
No,
I don't give a fuck what. And I'm gonna say this: anybody who thinks that wasn't funny has no sense of humor and is a humorless person. That was fucking funny. That was hilarious. I will say that unambiguously. That was funny. And by the way, I will say this: all those people trying to say it wasn't funny and trying to say, oh, it's not funny, be professional. Look at their reactions. Go back and rewind when that happened. Look at their reactions. They were making the same reaction. So they're being fucking.
That was a natural reaction. It's a little screen grab from something that happened in a split second. You think people can control that? They can't.
Yeah.
You know, and if you were in the courtroom and someone took a screenshot of your reaction when that happened, you'd look the same. Trust me.
Yep. I definitely understand. I definitely understand. You know, the interaction and how it kind of goes both ways, right? Because once again, going to Lawtube drama, I'm not lingering on it now. Just because DY guy's reaction was natural, and because the reaction to it was an overreaction, which by the way, Legal Bites has admitted. She came out with a video saying it was an overreaction. I shouldn't have done it, which was good. She apologized, which was rightly done, right? That doesn't mean that DY guy handled it perfectly either, right? So I don't think that neither one of them handled it perfectly, right? Both parties had some issues. Not my issue, not my fight. But it was a funny as hell moment in the trial. I loved it. Catherine Clayson, a $10. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We got another one here, and I'll just read them off this list because it's easier. Which Jesse says, Elaine is going to be cast as a new Catwoman. I can agree with that one. There it is in the chat. Next is, I feel bad for Elaine. She is just doing her job and has to deal with a client who lies. Well, guys, this is the problem when you have clients like Amber Heard, is they're going to lie and lie and lie, and they don't give a shit whether they lie or not. Like they just continue to lie and lie and lie, and they're trying to prove their point by digging themselves in deeper with lying. Squishy says, alcoholism is a coping method from being abused. Don't ask how I know. That's unfortunate, but it's right. It is right. It can be a coping method. Alcohol use is why he was a power perfect victim. Yes. Quick says, Tism is a superpower. Socially awkward turtle.
It is. It's true.
Kooky Cat says, but JD drinks and drugs only got out of hand with Amber Heard. Yeah, it got worse with Amber Heard.
Yes.
I think it became worse because of Amber Heard.
Yes.
Jessica Lynn said, drugs and alcohol were always in Johnny's life, and he was never accused. Amber was the only change. Exactly.
Right? Yes. Hello.
He was never not doing drugs. He was openly admitting to doing drugs with Hunter S. Thompson years ago.
Exactly. And I think his drug use was a form of escapism. I think we all can see that. And I think that once he met Amber, he really went into the escapism hard. Because just imagine that following you around from room to room.
That fucking monster.
With that demonic laugh, that cackle she was doing. Like, oh my God. That was horrifying.
William Wolford says, Amber will be fine. She just got a new role, the Turdinator. It's a scat porn film where she plays a cyborg with bowel issues. Career over. Hecdate says it doesn't make sense if it's a lie. Yeah, if it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. And that's Amber's stories. They all don't make sense. They're illogical, and they conflict with other people's accounts of what happened. Not just Johnny Depp, but even her own witnesses. They conflict. Christian says, I use lies and truth synonymously. Amber Heard. Oh, man. Like pledge and donation. I love it. I love it. JK Wynn says, Lawtistic League drama is funny because Nick called it and I saw it coming. Communism doesn't work. I watch you and Nick and Joe for jokes, legal and degeneracy, not drama. Yeah, I like to have fun on my channel, and I don't need drama to like come up with content. Like,
no, we like to have fun.
Yeah, and we can make fun of other people. Like we have lots of content. I don't need Lawtube to create drama. Like, it's kind of like, get the fuck out of here. And frankly, I'm with Nick on this. I don't care to be considered part of Lawtube. I'm not part of a fucking commune.
Let's go.
I will collab with people, but I'm not going to be part of the fucking group. I'm not going to bend the knee to nobody. I'm not going to cuck to anybody in the group. Nobody is the boss of me, and nobody's telling me what the fuck to do. Like, literally, that to me, and by the way, if anybody knows anything about me, like, the reason why I do what I do, I work for myself, I have my own channels, I don't like listening to people. I do not take orders well, right? I am not a great employee and subordinate. I'll put that out there right now.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I'm not. If someone told me to do something, I would tell them to go fuck themselves just on principle, because that's my natural reaction. Even if it's reasonable,
wait,
I have to
second.
fight this reaction.
Andrew, am I not allowed to discipline you?
No, that is not happening.
My grandfather,
we're going to talk about this in my office later, Christina.
When my grandfather was in World War II, they had to make him like a sergeant because he just couldn't take orders from anybody, but he was really good at giving them. It's the Italian guys. It's like oppositional defiant disorder.
we cannot take the orders, but we can give a rule. Oh yeah, that's my Italian impression. Muffin Turd said, "Hey, check your Twitter mail. You'll love it." I think that was what you sent me on the birthday thing. ACLU. Will public perception change the deceit and lies and more? I think it can change, especially if we get a victory here. I think we do get a big change, and I think it's already changing. I think we've changed it. So I think we've already changed it to an extent, but a victory would help change it even more. Daily Mail is a paper we call the Daily Fail. I like it. I like it a lot. We got Allison saying Elon Musk and Amber Heard are now fighting over rights to frozen embryos. Sounds like Amber Heard just pledged to swallow. Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
Zserb says that's what we do. We pray, get drunk after, and support a true icon and legend of Johnny Depp. Bro, this is based as fuck. So Zserb, thank you so much, man. You are fucking G over there.
It's true.
Hararsha Reddy says, hey bud, whose side do you think the jury is going to vote for? Johnny Depp. I feel they're going to vote no on Q on more occasions, but going to award Johnny Depp the money. Yeah, he's not going to recover on every count. That's true. But I think Amber's counterclaim gets tossed out. 2 of Johnny's counts get tossed out because verbal abuse can be counted towards it. So I think they're going to not count him on that one. But the sexual stuff, there's no proof. So I think there's defamation there for sure. So yeah, that's a good question, Harsha. But I think it's Johnny Depp all the way. So we agree. We're in the same place, man. So there's no disagreement here. You're not going to get me dissenting at all. Let me read off the list here. Joe Childress says the court has been open for half an hour. Jury deliberations are officially done. Yeah, now I've got it pulled up on the other side. If they were to come in like right now, I can pull that up. But they're not in yet, right? The verdict is not back yet. So we're good, guys. We're gonna have a little bit. They came in today. I think they're gonna need at least a little bit of time. Like, I think at soonest it would be around lunchtime, but my prediction is the afternoon.
Yep, I think that's right.
Yeah, I really think that's gonna be about when it comes back. I mean, it could be plus or minus, but I mean, I think that the fact that they don't give them dinner is always a huge factor, guys. I mean, think about that. All right. Caitlin says that right here, $20, and appreciate that. It says, my brother is going through an ugly divorce. His ex is a gatekeeper and has a narcissistic mother. His situation is similar to Johnny Depp's. I pray that a verdict in favor of Johnny will help my brother find justice. Awesome. I really hope that too. I really hope that too. Everyone deserves it, and especially the men out there that are suffering, especially in divorces, family court. They need to know that they have a side. It is.
Yeah.
and they deserve to be heard too, just to be heard.
Yes.
Right? I'm not asking that you believe all men. Nobody's saying that. But how about you just listen to them? How about you start by that? Nico Blue said it was funny. Yeah, even Elaine laughed. And this is what made me just be like, all right, you guys are not being credible right now because fucking Elaine laughed at it. You saw her smile. So why are you guys saying it's unprofessional when the person who was the butt of the joke was laughing? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So I mean, look, once again, I think that reprimanding was a bad idea, but we've had the person say it was a bad idea. That drama, the ship has sailed. So, that one's gone. Let's Be Real says, can the jury grant him more money than what he asked for? No, they cannot. So I don't think that's going to happen. They're not going to give him more than 50 million. I think they're going to give him between 10 and 20 max. I do not think they're going to give him 50, but they could give him 50. It's possible. And if they give him 50, that's great. I'm just giving my guess, so just understand that. And by the way, I don't know, Adrian, I was like, don't be politically correct. We have never, Christina, when have I ever been politically fucking correct?
Yeah, we're not politically correct, guys.
Like, extraordinarily not. If you're new to this channel, you might think that, but we are definitely not Adriana. So make no mistake. Chica.
Andrew's the most based person in the so-called Lawtube community. I don't like that phrase either, but Andrew is the most based.
You know why I don't?
Most unbreaded.
You know why I don't like it? Because it's so fucking soy. It's like it's so
dorky.
It's so dorky. It's like, we're in Lawtube. Come on, guys.
Why put yourself in a category or in a group like that? You can't. Like, everybody's different.
And then you have to speak for them. You have to support them. I'm not doing that shit. I support me and I stand by my statements. Everybody else can defend them fucking selves. I don't have to defend them. And by the way, I don't even defend my friends. Nick and I are really good friends, but I don't defend Nick. Now, I agree with him when he's right, and if someone's attacking him and they're stupid, like Ethan Ralph or something like that, then I'm gonna fucking make fun of them, right? But like the fucking Gunt, I'm gonna make fun of him, right? But because it's too easy.
Oh my God, it's so easy. It happened again.
In Portugal,
It was, if you've seen it, it was so pathetic. Yep. It was so ridiculous. And he wanted to fight me, guys. He gets winded if he walks 2 steps in his diabetes socks.
Yeah, it's rough. It's real rough.
Man.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Anyways, So that's where I'm at with that. JD would fit in well here in Northern Ireland with his sense of humor. We are very dark, dry sense of humor. Love your channel. Yeah. And different people have different sense of humor. And I will say, I think he does have kind of a maybe more Commonwealth sense of humor than an American sense of humor. Maybe that resonates a little bit more well. That dark sort of brooding sense of humor. I can see that. Jason says, are there any jury instructions in Virginia that you find problematic? In California, we have one that says the testimony of a single witness the testimony of a single witness is enough to prove a fact. And you think that's problematic? Well, I guess it could be, right? That potentially could be problematic, saying that a single witness is enough to prove a fact. I don't think there's anything here that hurts him. I think the jury instructions are pretty neutral. Frankly, I don't think they're unfair. Manifestly, I think they're pretty neutral. I think it comes out well. I think one of the things that did come out well is that for Amber Heard to recover, you need to find malice, right? And also throwing out the slap, the slap portion. I think that's actually the jury instructions. If anything, they lean Depp, not her. So I'll do that right. I'll say that. Chris Surdek says, I worked in social media analytics. The platforms analyze and find the most gullible 1% to 3%, then puts them in an influence bubble. This is how they drive the noble narrative. Yeah, I believe, Chris, I 100% believe that.
See, this is so interesting. I think that's fascinating because I think they do that to everybody. I think they are able, like, they know more about you than you know about yourself. It's micro-targeted, and I think that they put people in like echo chambers, and then they hit them with like things that they know will like make them angry.
Right. They trigger
keep them engaged,
Keep them engaged, yep. And make them angry because anger is the strongest motivator. Georgia says, if the verdict isn't back today, let's hope it's because they're listening to audios of our self-abuse and self-admission of drug use on our part. Okay, Yes, it's possible. So I will say my prediction, if you guys weren't paying attention, is that today is the verdict. And if it doesn't come back today, it's not looking good for Johnny Depp. I am not saying it's impossible for Johnny Depp to recover tomorrow. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to recover Thursday or Friday. All I'm saying is the percentage chance drops significantly. It doesn't drop to 0, but I think a quicker verdict benefits Johnny Depp. A slower verdict benefits, I would call like a hung jury, a split jury. I don't think they're recovering for Amber in any circumstance here. That's my personal take on this. But a longer one does not benefit Johnny Depp. Is it impossible? No. But I think we're going to see the way it leans today. And that's why I think the verdict is here. When I say it's here, I believe that. I stand by that. I'm not going to back down off that one. And I'm really confident in today being the day. I'm going to stand by that. Other people are too pussy to make a prediction. I'll make a prediction. And look, I can be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. But I could be wrong, of course. But I'm standing by today as being the day. J.M. Strong says abusers want to separate their victims from their friends. The bad thing is Amber surrounded the wagons with her friends in Johnny Depp's own domain.
Yes.
Yeah, and the funny thing was her friends actually liked Johnny Depp to a certain extent.
Yeah, so
which is
sad.
crazy. You know, they actually
God.
liked Johnny Depp, which is hilarious here. Mario says Amber Heard just ended feminism in the Me Too movement through this trial. What are your thoughts on this? Next up is Marilyn Manson. I think next up is Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
But I'm going to be real with you guys. We are not going to get anyone. Well, let me put it this way. We're not going to get anywhere near the same views for Marilyn Manson as Johnny Depp. I'm just going to say it, guys. And look, I know all you guys are going to get there. I know you guys are going to be paying attention. I know a good number of you will tune in for Marilyn Manson. I know that. But I'm just saying, Mario, and I hope you do. I pray you stay with my channel. I pray you stay with this coverage. But I know I'm accepting that some of you guys out there are just watching because it's Johnny Depp. Don't lie. Don't lie, guys. It's okay. I'm okay. This is my channel. We don't bullshit around. I get it, right? I understand. However, I will be covering that for sure. I will be covering other #MeToo incidents because I think it's bullshit. And anytime there's an injustice done, I'm going to cover it. And if there's a court case, I'm going to cover it. And hell, if the facts come out and they're against the guy, I'll cover that too. But frankly, we haven't seen that. If it's an Epstein type situation, then yeah, of course I'm going to cover that. And I'm going to say, yeah, Epstein fucking did it, right? Like the guy here's a problem. But by the way, in that case, remember, Ghislaine Maxwell, just as culpable.
No, the real operator. That was her father's espionage ring.
Right. So let me put it this way.
Gosh.
Christina, so Ghislaine Maxwell is at least equal to or perhaps more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think she was the one that got those women in there. And I think
she was the real, she was the real operator.
Yeah.
That was her father, Robert Maxwell. That was his espionage network that she took over after he passed away under suspicious circumstances. But that's how she met Epstein. Epstein, by the way, was a nobody from Coney Island. She was the one who grew up around the royal family. She was the one who had all the connections. And if you listen to what Epstein's victims said, she was the one that made them feel safe enough to come there because they thought another woman's here. Nothing's going to happen to me. Yep. That is, and she was not the only one. Sarah Kellen, there were other women who were part of this network that knew exactly what they were doing. And they were there to make the girls feel safe and comfortable. And then they stabbed them in the back.
which is what happens. J5LM says, best quote ever. You're not the boss of me. Dirk Diggler from Boogie Nights. Love it. Now Legal Mindset as well. Shout out to Christina from Navy Yard, DC.
Oh, nice.
So you've got some local simping. There you go. But appreciate that, J5. Haley, thank you for the super sticker. And Helico, thank you as well. Appreciate that. Edibard says, hola, first super chat. Do you think Johnny Depp intimidated RB with jokes on advance so he himself would not be intimidated by RB during the cross-examination? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that could be quite right because I think Rottenborn started out pretty good. And then I think as he started making those jokes, you could see Rottenborn becoming like frustrated and getting more and more like angry and like tripping himself up. I thought he lost major points there. You know, I was thinking he was pretty hot. Then after that, I was like, nope.
Rottenborn? Oh, you were like into the Rottenborn daddy energy, and then you like backed
and then that happened, and I was like, oof.
Yeah,
you got mobbed by Johnny Depp.
yeah. Had to recant that one real quick, didn't you, Christina?
He's
Didn't you?
no more silver fox Rottenborn.
Yep. I think so too. I think it did throw off Rottenborn for sure. Yeah. Pascal said, kind of feel bad for Elaine. She cried Friday. She's doing her job, but Amber has no case as a liar and a crap client. I agree. Look, I feel bad for them to like a minor extent, but at the same time, they chose their clients, and you get to choose your clients. You can always say no. I do not think she is compelled to do this. I think she chose to do this, and she should have known when you took this case that there were no facts on the side. She had to give a presentation of the facts in the beginning, and she could have said no to it. So I have very little sympathy. You can always recuse yourself, remove yourself. They chose not to do that. So yeah, and there's this whole theory. There's this whole underworld that thinks that Elaine is secretly a stand for Johnny. No, I'm being dead serious. There's a whole world that thinks I'm serious. There's people who believe that Elaine is secretly a Johnny lover.
Oh my God.
She's got Johnny posters all over. You know what else she probably has? She probably has like a Tug sex doll, you know?
She's obsessed with Tug.
She's obsessed with Tug. She's obsessed with Tug. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Funny.
So I guarantee you, she's got the posters. You know, she's like, Tug, why did you abandon me? Why won't you say anything nice about me, Tug? Tug, I love you.
Notice me.
I want all six. Yeah, notice me, senpai. You're 6'7". I just want 6 inches of you.
Oof.
You know? Lynn says Elaine equals auditory abuse. Yeah, she is. It's terrible. It's terrible. It is cat's nails on the wall. All 21 of them that she owns. Kooky Cat, speaking of cats, says, do you think Elaine has damaged her career? I think Elaine will, to be all honesty, I think Elaine's career is probably mostly settlements, and she's actually brags about that on her website. I think she's probably good at getting settlements and negotiating. This is just a case where Johnny Depp wasn't going to negotiate a settlement. So, and it may have been the case where she thought she was going to settle with Johnny Depp on this, and they failed, and then they were stuck with Elaine as a trial lawyer. That could have been the case. Salon the Lich says, put a shower header on the beginning of the stream so people can wash the sand off their lower hatches. Also sub to Radix for feet, obviously.
Oh my God, you guys in the feet.
Obviously. It's the internet, guys. The feet fetishes come out.
I know, it's so weird.
If this jury hangs, good luck finding a new one. Yeah, it's not. This jury is like the best one you're going to get, period. So like Johnny's not going to get a better one than this. I wish I was drunk. Says, how are we watching from Ireland? Cheers from Ireland. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm going to have some beers today. Maybe I'll have a Guinness in your honor there. Cars in Depth says, gullible social media users. When you see an obvious scam attempt, you may wonder who falls for that. Scams are designed to attract stupid people.
Wait a second. You mean the Nigerian prince I'm communicating with isn't legit?
Oh, boy. On the next episode of 90 Day Fiancé, the other way, Christina goes to Nigeria. All right. If the Asian jury are Koreans, Johnny will win. I am Korean and I know how they are. We believe in justice with a passion that is the force behind our nation's success. Hey, shout out to E-Park.
Yes.
Appreciate that. You know, I'm in Seoul, South Korea. And that's the one thing about like the elections in Korea that's like super fucking intense. Is like they will fucking, if they believe there's like an injustice or like it's unjust, they will definitely take action and it will be severe. Right. So yeah, that's very, 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 very true. So shout out to you, Park. Appreciate that. And if you're ever in Seoul, let me know or let Legal Vices know because we're both in Korea. Normally, right now we're in Florida, being Florida people. Well, at least I'm being a Florida person. Let's see. Milnid says, hello, sir. What are your predictions? Who's going to win? Can you give a percentage? I have done this repeatedly, but I will do it again because I love you. And you sent me a 200 Philippine pesos. So I will do that. I will do that for you. So here's my prediction. Johnny Depp wins on one count. 90% chance it comes down today, come out today in the afternoon. That's my prediction. And I'll give that 90%. There's a 10% chance that crazy shit happens, right? Because crazy shit can and will happen, right? So I leave out 10% for crazy stuff happening, for a hung jury, for a jury nullification, for someone who's biased, right? I have to leave some out there for that. I have to. Somebody asked here about perjury, and they say, let me just read it from my personal list here. It says, all I care about now is the perjury. What are the odds of jail time, even fancy jail? And that's from Joe Pio for $5. So, right here. So what I think is, Joe, I think the odds of perjury in the U.S. are low. Now, Australia, that's another story. That's why I'm speaking to an Australian lawyer on Thursday. I think there may be a better chance in Australia. Also, the UK is considering it. So I think there's a chance, especially if Johnny recovers, that we see the perjury charges go ahead in the UK, perhaps in Australia. And there, in those jurisdictions, there may be some punishment. Now, will there be extradition? I highly doubt it. But Amber Heard may have to avoid those countries in the future, which would be fucking hilarious. Kooky Cat says, what do you think happened to Johnny Depp's dog, Boo? She went to Amber Heard and she gave Boo to her dad, who is known for running dog fighting rings. Wait, is this fucking serious? Christina, have you heard about this?
What? No,
Dog
I didn't know that.
rings? Boo is not a dog fighting dog.
No, Boo is a little foo-foo dog.
Fucking teacup Yorkie you get eaten for breakfast.
Oh, God.
Like, there's
I don't
no
know where
fucking
some
way.
of this stuff comes from, guys. Like the dog fighting one.
That's like some smoking crack stuff, but I do appreciate these crazy days. Like, Boo is in a dog fighting ring. He'd be breakfast in a dog fighting ring. He would literally
the
be the
secret life of Boo.
He would be the bait dog. He would be the bait dog. Oh, I love this one, by the way, Christina. Christina sounds like a BTS fan, but for Andrew. I like it.
I sent for Andrew.
I like
it's
it.
True.
Christina, can you please put my face on a metro in Seoul in my birthday so that all my fans can put like stickers and posters and stuff when it's my birthday on the metro sign?
Yes,
I appreciate
that will happen.
Thank you for simping for me. I appreciate it. You can call me Opa. You're allowed. Elaine has an orgasm. You can call me senpai as well. That's also allowed. Elaine has an orgasm every time she says that umbrella guy.
It's true.
You know it's true, guys. Stephanie Piet says, hey, can you please do a summary when it's all done? I'm in Australia. It's almost midnight here. I need to sleep. Yes, Stephanie, when everything is done, we will do a full summary, a full breakdown, a full facts. Like, I will go from front to back. Right now, we're just pending the verdict because, I mean, frankly, that's what people are all waiting for. But yeah, I will do a full front to back, head to stern breakdown of the whole case, the charges, the facts, the best witnesses, everything. That'll take a long time, but I'll do it. Kyle said, Amber Heard's future, hated in America, not allowed anywhere else. Yeah, and that's the future she deserves for being a fucking abuser.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
She deserves that. They use small dogs and cats as bait. Okay, so you're literally saying Pooh is the bait dog. Like, that would be insane if Amber Heard did that. That would be insane. Can you do a legal review of Halo? Think about Halo the game? Like, what do you want me to review? Like, whether Master Chief was like violating like the military rules? Like, what do you want me to do there? Like, I mean, I'm okay with doing like fictional universe legal review. Okay, that's fine, premium content. But you got to tell me exactly what you want, bro. Send me a Twitter message or clarify that. But I'm willing to do stuff. You give me suggestions. You know, we have fun on my channel. Alex Dowdell. Sorry, Alex. Sorry about your last name there. Alex says, what happened if the judge decides after the case that false evidence was submitted by the Heard team? Edited photos. Sanctions. Possible reported to the bar.
Wow.
Elaine, they could lose their law license. I mean, there's a lot, especially for Rottenborn and for Elaine, there are severe consequences for lying.
Yeah.
Very severe consequences for lying. So that's something there. Alex says, author Jeffrey Archer was the last person I remember to have been convicted for perjury for lies told in a civil case. He went to jail too. Yeah, it's very rare, guys. It's so rare to get a conviction for perjury. Very, very, very rare. Oh my God. Dev Cho says Boo is probably a ring girl.
Oh my God.
Fucking gay, guys. All right. So Christina, do you have any last thoughts on the case or anything else you're like thinking about when you're thinking about this case and what's going on and kind of what's going on in the mainstream media? I pulled up that Vice article that was like, we need that, like, we failed Amber Heard, we failed women. You know, have we failed your gender that hard? Christina, because I'm presuming your gender here and therefore performing gendered violence. But have we failed you?
No, the media has failed real victims of SA and domestic violence because of what they've done, and they're believe all women, believe it's time to believe Amber Heard after she went on the stand and lied in a very obvious manner. They're the ones that have failed women. They are the ones who have failed real victims. And every time they do this, every time they take somebody who's very clearly lying and elevate them as some kind of like, oh, this person represents an entire thing like DV,
Whole thing. Yeah.
Then you crap all over those people, and you make it so that people are going to be less likely to believe them if it happens to them. I mean, that's really sad. I think that that's shameful. I also think that their war on men is not going to stop. I think that they're going to double down, just like Amber Heard. I think she will double down. And I presume that they're going to do the same thing when the Marilyn Manson trial happens. They're going to be all in for Evan, and they're going to probably, just do their same antics. I mean, on day one, during the opening arguments, Law and Cuck, they had one of their reporters there.
She's referring to law and crime, but we do call them law and cuck over here. We don't hold back. Proceed.
One of their reporters was taking things that Elaine was saying in her opening arguments and positing them as like facts. Like, oh, it's time for Johnny Depp to be held accountable for this, 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 and this. And I'm like, wait a second. This hasn't even begun. We haven't even seen the evidence. And that was the narrative they were running with. That's not surprising at all. So I think that the evidence speaks for itself. And, I'm excited to see what the jury comes back with. I'm kind of excited to see if we are correct and it kind of goes the way that we think it's going to go.
Got it. Yeah, no, for sure. It could go a different way. It could go a different way. I think I'm pretty fucking confident. When I say 90%, I mean 90%. I am that confident about it. It would need to be some abnormal shit in some fuckery. Some Amber Heard bribery, some stuff that's going on that we don't know about, right?
Right. And then
that level of fuckery.
We'll have Amber Heard's OnlyFans career starting. So for the Amber stans, I think you'll get some premium content there.
Some of that floppy fish, some of that, pretty mackerel. You'll get all that. You'll get all the mackerel you need on the OnlyFans. And by the way, sweethearts, thank you. I did see you became a member. Yes. I did see that. Appreciate that. And appreciate you sticking around after the trial. There's going to be a lot of good stuff on my channel. And once again, if you like this, make sure you smash the like button. It helps me out so much. I see 7,000-ish of you smashed it, but we can get this higher. We can get this higher. We can get a little bit.
Come on, guys, let's go.
So, and then Abby Ravenclaw says, "You make me sad as a cat lady. Have mercy." Listen. I love my cat people. That sounds wrong, but let me just clarify here. I have dated many women who own cats. And I think it's a little bit of a combination of I'm more of a dog person. But sometimes I meet a cat person. It's that yin yang, that works out. So yeah, I get it. But you're not Elaine level. I guarantee it.
Right.
She embodies it. Embodies the heart and soul there of the Simpsons level cat lady. Ballin' for Kids says, women have been lying to entrap men for decades, not surprising justice for Johnny. The problem is that this has been something that's been taboo to say that women can lie and that women could entrap women or get them in trouble and whatnot. So this is problematic, and this shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to say that women have the ability to lie. Just like
they do. And family law is very unfair. It always leans toward the women. And I think that that's sad. And, we have what happens if you marry somebody and then a couple years they divorce you. They can take everything you've worked your entire life for. That's pretty crazy.
Yep. Very
How
much
is that equality? These women want equality. Well, then be responsible for yourself.
Exactly. But they can't be. And Adriana brings up a point, right? Like, is that Amber is never single, right?
Oh, yeah, she monkey
That's
branches.
a good point. These type of people, they monkey branch, right? And they go from person to person to person to person. And they go from person they abuse and they drain, they abuse and they drain, they abuse and they drain.
Yes, that's right. They idealize and then they devalue and discard.
Yeah. And guys, let's go for 69K. If you're not subbed today, please get to 69 with me. Guys, let's 69 together. Let's do this. Let's get there. Do it for the channel. We can get there, guys. I know we can get there. Officer Squarehead said, can JD sue the ACLU for their part if he wins? I think the issue there, and I've talked about this previously, is that Amber Heard kind of controlled that. And what's come out of the trial is that Amber Heard kind of asserted control over the article. And because of that, the ACLU, I think, would get off the hook here. Ooh, I think he would fall more on Amber Heard. So I think that it's not lucrative for him to do that. I think the ACLU has taken a black eye from this case, which is where we need it, which is the real loss. Anita says, hi, guys. Why didn't Johnny Depp's team use the TMZ episode that aired of the cupboard slamming video? They admit on show that she leaked it. Well, that's what Morgan Tremaine was brought up for, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was mentioned.
And
right?
I think he was very effective.
Super effective with his black nail polish, TMZ
yes.
Draco. He was super highly effective.
Our Draco Malfoy.
Yes, of this case. Chris says 59. Actually, Chris, these numbers are outdated. It's over 60% now. Of U.S. college enrollment is women, 40% men. Men are walking away from the game. Men are walking away from the game. Women most effective.
That is such a good point.
Men are realizing that a lot of the jobs that we can do and be very productive at don't need college. For example, I was talking to a girl the other day, actually, and she was like, oh, I'm thinking of going to college for computer science. She's like, why? And she's like, oh, I want to program. I'm like, you can just learn that on the internet. Like,
exactly.
And guys are just learning coding on the internet and getting jobs. Like, why do you need to go to school for that? It's a skill you just learn. If you want to just learn it, just learn it.
The college is like a scam nowadays. The prices are exorbitant. The quality of education that you're getting is so much lower. And for women, I will say women should be told that in their youngest years, when they're most fertile, they should be looking for a husband. They shouldn't be worrying about going to college, being in higher education until they're in their late 20s, and then trying to find a man. No wonder they're miserable. Like they're spending the best time of their life in a stupid college that is filling their head with propaganda and nonsense. And then they come out like literally deranged and mentally ill with 10 different mental illnesses, which they're proud of. And they think that they're, a different gender or something.
Exactly. And by the way, this was shared with me. I just want to pop this up because, guys, I'm going to cover all sorts of different topics. And this is something I'm not going to give up on. This topic specifically regarding Amber, there's different stuff to cover here. And this is one I'm going to be talking about this Thursday, particularly with an Australian lawyer, this perjury investigation in Australia that's continuing. We're going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about that on Thursday, regardless of the verdict, right? We're going to discuss this. So just understand this is coming and it's still out there. Was Elaine's non-use of the mic strategy? I don't know whether it was strategy or not, but it wasn't a good point. It wasn't a good tactic. I think it was a horrible tactic. To not use the mic. I think you should use the mic.
Yes.
That's my personal opinion. Now, I will say I prefer not using notes. So I think that they should not use notes, but that's my personal opinion on that as a lawyer, but you can take that or leave that. If Amber Heard loses, can she appeal this case to a higher different court elsewhere? Yes. If she loses and there's a decision against her, she's found liable, she can appeal it. I think she'll lose the appeal, but she can try to appeal it. Eduardo says, could they make a movie out of this, or is it impossible for legal reasons? Nope, they could definitely do it. Who would be a good Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp would be a good Johnny Depp. But I don't know. Who would be a good Johnny Depp, Christina? Can you think of somebody?
An actor now that could play Johnny Depp? Not really. Like, I don't know anyone who could pull that off.
It's hard to be Johnny. Like, Johnny is Johnny.
Yeah, he can play himself, guys.
Yeah. Cookie Cat says, Elaine has just refused her cat lady starter kit. We don't want her. So the cat ladies are rebuking Elaine. Oh. They're putting her out into exiled cat lady. She is now one of the dark cat ladies, one of the Sith cat ladies over here.
Oh my goodness.
Muffins Turd says, since Amber got battered by CV, every time I'm having a bad day, I just watch CV smashing Amber Heard. Then I think my life is much better than that turd.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
It's
god.
true. Camille is
I
an
got here.
assassin.
Skeet Ulrich can play Johnny Depp in a movie. Oh my god. Robert Downey Jr. You know what? Robert Downey Jr. could do it though, because they're friends, so they could actually do it. But people are saying people keep saying Skeet. Some people said Ben Affleck, right?
Possibly.
Frank Dillon, James McAvoy.
Oh, I like him. Okay.
Johnny B. Johnny. You know, but yeah, it would be funny to see somebody else playing Johnny.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom, maybe, guys. I don't know.
You'd buy Orlando Bloom?
Maybe.
Yeah, so Skeet Ulrich, if you were saying Skeet Ulrich, would be a good Johnny. Let me pull up this picture. Right here. Okay, in case you guys don't know, this is the dude here, guys. So some of you may not know who this person is.
I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, it's this dude.
I know I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
I'm not a big.
I think it's like a young Johnny. Maybe it's like a young Johnny look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. I'll buy it. I'll allow it. As a judge, I'll allow it. It can happen.
Andrew approves.
Elaine is excommunicato. Oh shit. So yeah, Skeeto would be a great guy. Yeah. Good suggestion, you guys. All right, guys. It is 10 o'clock here in the East Coast. I have to check out of my hotel very soon, so I've got to go. But I love you all. I'm in a hotel. It's the last day I'm in this hotel here in Orlando, and then I'm going down to Miami. I'm actually flying down because,
you're flying from Orlando to Miami.
I need to be ferried, please. My chariot awaits.
Exactly.
So I'm going to fly down. I will be down there for the next week or so. Then I'll be in Texas, roughing it up there, having a grand old time.
Will you wear a cowboy hat for me?
I have a cowboy hat in Miami.
Yes. Let's go. We need to see it.
I will wear it. I'll wear it just for you,
Give the
Christina.
people what they want.
If you turn back on your camera and expose the fact that you're really a dude.
What?
Mario says, sad but true, Metallica Amber Heard will start an OnlyFans or end up ODing. I wish her the best, but even if she wins, her career and life is over. Now, I don't wish her death. Let me be very clear. I don't wish harm on anybody, right? Let me be very fucking clear, especially for YouTube. I'm not wishing harm on anybody.
Yes.
However, is her career over? Yes. Should it be over? Yes. Right? Marlon Brando, greetings from Luxembourg. Oh my God. Bro, shout out. Hey, I'm actually, you know what's funny? Luxembourg is a small ass country in Europe, a very small country. But I've had so many supporters from Luxembourg. I feel like I have a Luxembourg fan club here. But thank you so much, Tamara. I really appreciate that. I've had like 4 different super chats from Luxembourg. That's really crazy, but I appreciate it. To my Luxembourgish. I nominate a trans Amber Heard. She needs the money. Oh my God, Max. All right, Max. We're gonna have to get a lot of beers when I get to Tokyo. Young Johnny Ski is 52. He looks young. That motherfucker is 52.
He's 52.
How the fuck is he 52?
Dang.
Like, what is it? He has some good ass genes.
Exactly.
He has some good ass genes. Yeah. Some seriously good genes. Yeah, and Lotus Blossom. I think I showed that one that was about the Perjury investigation. So yeah, we're gonna be looking into that. Don't worry, the Perjury is going somewhere. I will double check my inbox after this. Like I said, I gotta go.
So you've worn the cowboy hat before, and I just haven't seen it.
I'll do it for you, Christina. I'll do it.
You
just
better.
For you. I'll do it just for you. That being said, guys, take care. Stay based. I'll catch you later. Australia, UK, Luxembourg, Germany, United States, Northern Ireland, wherever you're at.
Serbia.
Korea. What's up? Serbia, my Serbian brothers. What's up? You should play Depp. No, I can't do that. However, I will stay based. I'll catch you later. Peace.